Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmer, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, over me hills to Boakai, to educate, elevate, and promote. Talk about home affairs, hey, in diaspora, current affairs, hey, reliable information, history, ooh, talking about culture, hey, politics, education, entertainment, business, sports, advertisement, articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At full.
Hello, let us start the night debate. The president of Liberia has conceded.
My fellow Liberians, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you tonight with the utmost respect for the democratic process that has defined our nation. As your president and the leader of the Coalition for Democratic Change, I want to address you on the outcome of the runoff elections on November 14, 2023. The results announced tonight, though not final, indicate that Ambassador Joseph Boakai is in a league that we cannot surpass. A few moments ago, I spoke with President-elect Joseph Boakai to congratulate him on his victory. Tonight, as we acknowledge the result, let us also recognize that the true winners of these elections are the people of Liberia. Through your peaceful and orderly exercise of your constitutional right to vote, you have once again demonstrated your commitment to the democratic principles that bind us together as a nation. Under my leadership, these elections were organized with a promise to the Liberian people, a promise of fairness, peace, inclusion, transparency, and credibility. I am proud to say that we have fulfilled that promise. The Liberian people have spoken, and we have heard their voice. However, the closeness of the result revealed a deep division within our country. As we transition to the new administration, we must be vigilant to the dangers of division and work together to find common ground. Now, more than ever, unity is paramount for the law of normal Liberia. To the members of the Multi Coalition for Democratic Change, fellow partisans, seditions, Weah, all auxiliaries, first-time voters, campaign managers, and party leaders, I understand that this is not the outcome we desire. Although we did not emerge victorious, your hard work and support have been the backbone of our campaign. And for that, I am deeply grateful. I urge you to follow my example and accept the result of the elections. Go home tonight with the knowledge that our ideas and vision for Liberia remain strong. We are a young movement and our time will come again. Tomorrow, resume your daily activities in a normal way and come and join me at our party headquarters to reflect on our journey and plan for our return to political leadership in 2029. My fellow Liberians, ladies and gentlemen, tonight the CDC have lost the election, but Liberia has won. This is the time for graciousness in defeat. The time to place our country above party and patriotism above personal interests. I remain your president until the handover of power, and I will continue to work for the good of Liberia. Let us heal the division caused by the campaign and come together as one nation and one united people. May God bless Liberia, and may we continue to strive for a better future together. Thank you. May God bless you all.
Hello and welcome to Focus on Liberia. This is Friday night debate. So Friday night debate here at Focus on Liberia. I'm Anthony C, moderating today along with my partner. In today's edition of Friday night debate, please, debaters, if you're listening to anything, can you please mute it? Please mute just about anything you are listening to right now. Folks in cyberspace, it's Friday night debate here at Focus on Liberia. We want to welcome you to today's edition of Friday night debate. I'm Anthony here along with my partner, Dennis Ja. Debating tonight, this interesting night, we have with us my partner, Dennis Ja. Dennis, welcome to Friday night debate.
Thank you, Mr. C. I want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. The round of election has almost ended. We have just a tiny 0.42% remaining. With that, Joseph Newman Boakai is in a comfortable lead, and as you may have heard from President Weah, that lead is impossible for the CDC to surpass. So we have now confirmed, almost, even though not being declared by the Elections Commission, President-elect Joseph Newman Boakai. President Weah has conceded, and we are here to debate the issues. As always, welcome, share the show, invite a friend, and let's get it on.
Talking about getting it on, seated and ready for the debate is Glendy. Glendy is here. Glendy, welcome to Friday Night Debate.
Thank you, Anthony. It's great to be here, especially tonight, coming straight on this show from the victory of Joseph Newman Boakai as the next president of Liberia. I cannot be more proud. I cannot be more excited for Liberia. I am just looking forward to this debate tonight. Liberia is now in a new lane, and we're looking forward to it.
I like that. Liberia is indeed in a new lane. I hope that lane is new enough for us. Mohammed Sharif is focused on Liberia, political analyst. He's here tonight for Friday Night Debate. Comrade, welcome. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thank you, Anthony. It's great to be here.
Sita also is the man who has conceded from the Sunshine State of Florida. He knows himself. Mr. Gaiman, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a great day to be here with you. I am a proud Seditian, a hardworking Seditian from day one. I didn't join the CDC 2 weeks ago. I didn't join the CDC 2 months ago. I didn't join the CDC a week ago. I joined the CDC 2004. And the vision for which we stood came to pass. And we have made history. For the first time in the history of Africa, The president of the Republic of Liberia, George Manuel Weah, stood before the world at the UN and said, I pledge that I will be the first African president to have a fair, transparent, credible election witnessed by the world, and whoever wins will win. And today the president has made that pledge, and he has become the first president in the entire Africa for the first time, as evidenced by the ECOWAS chair when she said, this is the model moving on that Africa needs to adapt. George Weah, as usual, have been the first. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the debate.
You will have time for the concession speech, so save it for now.
Yeah, why are you considering so early? Anyway, it's a good thing, though. Jimmy Eastman joins us from the nation's capital. Jimmy is a team member here at Focus on Liberia. Jimmy, it's good to have you. How you doing? How you feeling?
Hey, it's a privilege to be able to witness this inflection point in our history, where it appears that we're about to go in a new direction. And there's a lot to bear testimony to. So I'm feeling very blessed to be here at this moment.
Thank you. Alice Wilson Mumba is here as a debater. How you doing, Alice? Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Sear. It's a pleasure being here. For the past 2 months, we've been on edge, not knowing what will come from out of this. Most talk about elections in Liberia. To be very frank, it's like a big surprise because couldn't really, think about the next step that will occur in our country, knowing the history of Liberia when it comes to election. But today, all prayers have been answered. And today, I watched the president of Liberia conceding to the president-elect of the Republic of Liberia. I think that is a wonderful thing that we should continue as a country moving forward, that every year we have elections to be a peaceful transition of power. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here.
J. Victor Namba is from the progressive community. This is the idea they were so hungry for. He's here. Welcome, Victor. How are you feeling? We just done something as a country.
Thank you very much. Look, I feel good about today. I feel good being a Liberian. I'm not necessarily too excited. I have yet to see what's to come. But I feel good that as Liberians, we went through this process and came out on the other end still together as one people. I think Liberia wins, no matter who the winner or the loser of this election is. So for that, I'm very proud to be a Liberian. Congratulations to the winners. And let's begin the work.
Evan Morris is here. Is sympathizer and supporter of George Manuel Weah. How are you feeling?
I feel proud. I feel very proud. I mean, I'm beaming. And the reason I'm beaming is because we have a true Democrat as a president. And for all the things that people have said about him, he's never, ever rigged the election. We must concede that. Senatorial, by-elections, these elections, he's never rigged it. He's a true Democrat. He's proven it once again by conceding. And like he said, our country is very polarized. The margin is, I think, within less than a percentage point. So it's a wonderful thing to see our president conceding. For some of us who have, lived and see presidents, trying to hold on to power and, trying to hold on to power no matter what. But let's not forget, democracy is a pendulum and inevitably it's going to swing the other way. So I hope the Unity Party and the party that's going to be in power come 2029, it will have a transparent and a fair election. And if that pendulum swings the other way, they must heed to the swinging of the pendulum. Thank you for having me on.
Well, thank you. And fellow debaters, we have a president-elect, and we have taken another step further in this process of democracy. I call it a process. Tonight is the debate on the Joseph Boakai and George Weah just ended race for president. in which Joseph Yumambwaka finally gets the last laugh this time. And Glendy is sharing in that laugh. Maybe that is a good thing. Let's get the debate started tonight, fellow debaters. When you are given the opportunity to speak, you will have 2 minutes, and we will appreciate you don't interrupt your fellow debater. If you have a point to interject, let us know. We, the moderators, will allow you. To open the debate tonight, the opening question is...
Excuse me. Mr. Sharif and Glendy never have opened it, did they?
They did.
Oh.
Yeah, they did. It was short.
I'm sorry, the defeat might be too heavy for you, my friend.
Just trying to be fair. I didn't hear Sharif say this, but go ahead.
I appreciate the fairness. Anthony Gay is the only one who has not spoken because he fell up. Mr. Gay, welcome.
Thank you very much. I want to begin by saying again, congratulations. So, President-elect Joseph Yumambwaka, congratulations to the Unity Party team. Congratulations to all those that participated in today. Our nation, Liberia, once again, joined the rest of the developed world to practice democracy in a way that I'm very pleased that our country, is peaceful tonight and people have accepted the results. And I hope going forward we will tone down the rhetoric and unite our nation and move forward. I'm not going to criticize this new government for the first 1 year. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to allow them to have their feet planted. And afterward, if there's anything we'll say after the first year, then we can say it. But I want to give them the free first year. We'll not criticize that government for now.
Thank you so very much. With that, the debate is set. And again, you have 2 minutes each when you have the opportunity to speak. For the opening question tonight, what does this electoral process say about us now as a people and our democracy? And we will start with J. Victor Namwe. Mr. Namwe.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. C. I think, as I indicated in my opening, I think Liberia won today. It is a very proud moment for all of us, even though the process itself has been very contentious, but at least we came out and the loser has graciously conceded and congratulated the winner. I think this is a good thing for Liberia. And like I said, the moment right now is for the UP people. We'll let them enjoy the moment. Congratulations to them. But I think on the whole, Liberians should be proud that we were able to go through this process. This is a very difficult process. Even here in the US, one of the oldest democracies on earth, India and the rest. But here we're still dealing with with all of the consequences associated with the democratic electoral process. Democracy can be messy at times, but I think Liberia did well. I think they scored very high on the scale. So I think this is a good day for Liberians, and congratulations to the UP.
Thank you. Alice Wilson Mumba, we just ended what was in the electoral process. What does that say about us as a people and our democracy? You are muted, Wale.
She looks frozen.
Yeah. She is frozen, she's muted, and things are delayed at her end.
She's in Liberia?
No, she's here.
Oh.
All right, let's go to the next person, Jimmy Isban.
Yeah, I think it was captured. Oh, you here now?
Yeah, I'm back here.
Okay.
I think Liberia. This shows that Liberians are peaceful people. Liberians love Liberia. They are thinking Liberia. And, everything about Liberia is on their mind. What's really happening also is Liberians don't want to see their country go down the drain like years past, where they were basically and destroying their own country. I think Liberians have learned a lot over the years, and they are not willing to go back to the dark days. So this election, the entire process, I saw that they were so calm and peaceful. There might have been some tensions here and there, but during the process and coming to the ending part, they really maintained their cool on thinking we were close today. So I must commend them. It's working perfectly. Thank you.
Jimmy?
And
Yeah.
Jimmy, let me add to that, because on top of what Anthony asked, what does it say about the voters? I mean, we've heard the Liberian voter has been beaten down, has not voting on issues, has been swayed by their bellies. What does this election tell us about the Liberian voter on top of what Anthony asked you?
Oh, excellent addition to that question. I think that was the deepest part of the president's concessional speech. He says the winners are the Liberian people because they were able to exercise their constitutional rights, their franchise. I think this put Liberia again in the leadership of Africa when it comes to democracy. We have a sitting president who is who lost an election and is willingly ready to transfer power over. We look at our neighbors, we have completely different circumstances around us throughout, where we hear of cheating going on, we hear of people changing the constitution to suit their rerun. We get all kinds of gerrymandering just to maintain political power. But here it is in Liberia, we're setting the pace, setting the example that we can exercise democracy. We set the first record by electing a female president, and now we're setting another record. So, to the second question, what does it show about Liberian people? Yes, the Liberian people do vote about issues, and if you're feeling hungry at that poll, if you don't have a job every single day, if you cannot send your kids to school every day and you don't see any change, then you don't have anyone to address your issues. You don't have anyone to champion the things that are happening to you. You're going to vote in a certain way. You're not going to be intimidated. You will vote, and the Liberian people have shown that. I think there was a lot of chances missed, though, because the Liberian people truly love this president, but their chances were missed, and there was a lacking. Definitely a lacking. That's why the Liberian people, as much as they were, half of them still voted for the president they loved. Half of them that said no, it's about time that we have to take another direction. So it does show that the Liberian people are people of issue and circumstance. We will not just be persuaded. And I think this is sending a message to the next president that if you fail the people or you do not address the issues of the people on hand.
Thank you, Jimmy. Your 2 minutes is over.
All right.
Yeah, please. Comrade Sharif,
Yes.
we have exercised a democratic process. There might be little things here and there, but the conclusion looks beautiful. How do we see ourselves now today? And what message did we send to the rest of the world today?
So please check me as well. If I exceed these 2 minutes, they may be very short for me. But listen, today is a great day. What it tells me first is that the electoral body, the NDC, must be commended. They've been beaten down. They've been criticized and all these different things by us. So the electoral body, I will give them some credit for standing or for sitting there, because keep in mind they're under tremendous pressure. Another thing that I can quickly go to is that we must protect our democracy. You saw what the Unity Party did in the lead up to the second round now, especially with the advent of Amara Kone injected more energy and innovation into that campaign by making sure that the ballot was protected. Because even in the dying minute, the CDC, as I predicted, was still trying to cheat. That is the reason why right now there are ballots from a Grand Cru that cannot be counted. They're quarantined. So if you don't believe me, listen to the chair of the Elections Commission. So we have to protect that process. And finally, for me on this issue, is that I will have to commend the president for his magnanimity in this regard by coming out quickly to to salute his successor in this case. So this is a great day for our democracy, and I hope that this continues. My thing now for the president is, what took you so long?
Thank you, comrade. Glendale, what message have we sent to the world? What have we accomplished yet? What is your reading of it?
I think I'd like to just briefly go back to what Anthony said. And I want to stress that I know people will be in a state of probably, I don't want to say anarchy, confusion, expectation, thinking what the Boakai government will do. But I think Joe Boakai has always said that his government will be one of inclusion, one of scrutiny, and one that will hold people accountable. So I want to make sure that is said off the back. But I think what this election has done, the entire process from the first round to the second round has done is show us out that when we have policies and we have procedures in place, Liberians can follow it. And I think that is significant for us as a people, that it shows that the processes and the policies that were in place related to the elections, Liberians follow. What is this showing to our democracy? It is showing that our democracy is alive. That number one, Liberians were able to, in the second round, decide to protect their votes. And in the end, the process became extremely transparent. The people were able to say who won, where they won, the numbers matched what NEC had. And so in the end, the president had to concede. So I think it says a lot about Liberia. And I think these elections in Liberia and the results we've gotten and what has shown as it relates to protecting of votes will go a long way for Africa, and if not the world as a whole. So I think it's a good thing for Liberia.
Thank you. Mr. Gimman, we're talking about what we have demonstrated as a people and a country, talking about our democracy. Did we set a good example and a good message to the rest of the world? That is the question, sir.
Well, I don't take my word for it. Jonathan, former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, the chair of ECOWAS, said it in her speech on BBC that this is the motto. She said her only doubt is, are the other leaders in Africa willing, as George Weah, to play fair, transparently as he has done? But let me go back to Mr. Sherry real quick, because Mr. Sherry is trying to dodge his own bullet here. This is a man who said this administration will steal the election, that this woman is incompetent. She was the wife or girlfriend of George Weah, and she will steal the election. This man has been saying this for the past 3 years. And today he wants to sit there and tell me that there are ballots quarantine in a Grand Cru, and he negated the same thing going on in Nima. Nima have ballots that are quarantined that need to be checked. So when we are starting on a new foot here, we have to be honest and fair. We have to hold each other accountable. This is what Glendy is talking about. It's accountability. When you say stuff, you got to own up to it. Be fair in your analysis. The record is clear. The chair of the Elections Commission made it clear. we have ballots and sometimes rerun in Nimba and Grand Crew. And he comes on this platform, a man who accused the woman for attempting to steal. In fact, he predicted that she was going to steal the election for George Weah. Wouldn't want to give her full credit and say that they tried to steal the election because this is disingenuous. But this says a lot about Africa. President Weah was Africa's best, Liberia's best, world best, Euro's best, and now in political scene has set a new trend. And we are going to be the model. George Weah is the best president we have ever had, and one of the best now to say this is the model. And I'm proud and I salute this man.
Thank you, Gerald.
Anthony, if you permit, because my name was invoked.
No, comrade, I'm not going to permit you. I'm not going to permit you. We'll continue with the debate here. You have your time. Aliu Kamara, we will welcome you.
I thought you said there was room for interjection if you wanted to.
All right. You said that. Go ahead. You have 30 seconds to interject, please.
Thank you. There's nowhere on these tapes that I ever said that Mrs. Davietta Brown Lansana was a girlfriend of George Weah. So that is false. That's really false. Go listen to all of the tapes. I did say that George Weah, if it's too close, he was going to steal the election. There were attempts by this party to steal the election. This is the reason why there are 24 polling stations in Grand Crew. There are ballots from there are quarantined right now. There were attempts to steal the election. I stand by that. If you don't believe,
comrade, thank you.
Listen to the commissioner.
Thank you, comrade. I appreciate the short interjection here. Let me welcome Aliu Kamara, a strong supporter of Josiah Yemabwaka. He has been on a victory lap. He fell asleep and is late for the debate. Is that how you're going to be late for work when it starts? Welcome, my friend. I'm just kidding.
Anthony C. Thank you so much.
Why
for
you love
having
me so much?
You know what?
Why you love me so much, Aliu?
Huh? Your team breaking him. Say that again.
I said, why you love me so much? Go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you. Look, what I'm enjoying here. I'm looking at my uncle, Mr. Gilman over there. You know, if you have any hypertension pill, please try to pass something on to this man. I'm afraid he will pass out. His blood pressure is really high. You can tell just by looking at him through the screen. Mr. Gilman is okay.
Man. Continue. Your energy is low. Your energy is low. Give us some energy, Aliu. This is Friday night.
Ali, the question here is, what is your reading of the victory of the election tonight? What message is it sending? And what does it say about voter? Aliu is currently in somewhere in Ghanasville. We're having some problems here. Yeah. So we're going to move on to and the question I want to ask all of you is tonight we saw the election.
I didn't get a chance to answer them. I didn't get a chance to respond to the first question.
Okay. Go ahead. Your answer.
Well, what was the question again?
Yes. The question is, did we set an example with the electoral process that we ended so beautifully, where we had a winner and then the president conceded? Did we set an example and did we set out a good message?
Yes, I think we set an excellent example. Even our first round of elections, I think I sent a clip to you, Mr. Ja, Mr. Gaiman, where you have Professor Jigga, who, was waxing poetic about the process in Liberia on TV in Nigeria. We see, for example, the DRC Congo, where they're having the elections on the 20th of December, where the president there, Felix Tshisekedi, is being accused of having 3 million ghost voters. People are saying he's already going to rig the elections, and so forth. Nigerian election was very highly contested. It went to the Supreme Court. A lot of people feel that election was rigged. So bigger democracy than us have been having problems with the elections. Even next door Ivory Coast, we see a president ran for an unconstitutional third term, change the constitution to be able to run for a third term. But with all the things that's going on tonight, I want to applaud President Weah. again, for being a Democrat. Look, you don't practice democracy only in victory, you practice it in defeat. And we're practicing it right now. You have a stiff upper lip, you take your defeat, and you stand on democratic tenets, which I think President Weah has done. Mr. Sharif, just to respond to you, you did accuse President Weah, or you did accuse Deviata Lasana Brown being President Weah's girlfriend multiple times on his platform. So you can't take it back now. You did accuse that this president was going to cheat and rig these elections. He said that multiple times on his platform. We've always stood firm that the president has never cheated in any elections. He's always been fair. He's always showed that win or lose, he's going to accept the result. But let's not forget, overall, the CDC won this election. They won more seats in the House and in the Senate. They garnered more votes overall than the opposition. So while it's very close, we're talking about less than a percentage point. The country is polarized and divided. But at the end of the day, CDC is still a mammoth political force in our country. We can't downplay that. 6 years from now, we'll see how things go. As Liberians, we wish for the best. We wish, Ambassador Boakai, the best for his new administration. But we'll be watching vigilantly, and we'll be there to criticize and keep them in check when it's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Ali Kamara, I'm sure you heard the question earlier. Welcome back.
No, give me the question again, please.
What have we demonstrated as a country and people in the practice of democracy? Did we set an example?
No. But see, first of all, we've always set an example. We set this example in 2005. We set this example in 2011. We set this example when Georgia won an incumbent vice president. The example was set. So is this nothing new? I think what's happening is just a repeat of what has been happening. Let me say in this public manner that the Electoral Commission did a wonderful job, even though CDC as a political party tried to do something. We told people that what happened in the first round was going to close those polls, and it was effective. A lot of strategists came on board to join the already able strategists that were already on board to beef their strength, and it worked out pretty fine. But to answer your question, Liberia has been doing a wonderful job when it comes to the freedom of expression, the freedom for the people to speak. Through the ballot box. This has been going on now. We're going on 20 years now.
Thank you, Ali. I like that because I would say Liberia is the oldest democracy in Africa, and Mr. Sharif can keep me honest here. We started having elections since 1847, and we've been going there. So, my question to you all is: since we have this election runoff announced today, what is responsible for the CDC loss, and what is responsible for the UP victory? Let me start with Mr. Elvis Morris. What's responsible for CDC loss, and talking about the presidential election?
Well, I think in retrospect, we're gonna look at regions, right? I think losing the support from Nimba County overwhelmingly, that hurt CDC. We must admit that.
You mean Prince Johnson or Nimba County?
Well, again, I hate to belittle the people of Nimba by saying that they are one man, and one man can put their nose anywhere politically, But I would say losing the support of the people of Nimba, I think that hurt the president. And then secondly, some of his shortcomings when it comes to fighting corruption, when it comes to addressing the nation and being a more, I won't say proactive, but just being a more engaging president for the Liberian people. I think that hurt him. And overall, I think the gang up against him, the class that felt like he wasn't worthy to be president because he's not from that class, the quote unquote intelligentsia, where you have a group of people with some means coming together and just trying to gang up against this president. I think that hurt him also. But overall, I think what hurt him the most is the fact that when you look at the economy, for example, a lot of people feel like there's more to be desired when it comes to the economic turn of our country. And we as citizens, we as supporters, will find, excuses and other things that may have hindered him from building up our economy. But overall, I think the economic situation in the country was very difficult for a lot of people. But that withstanding, he got 49% of the vote.
Yeah, let's leave that. Let's go to the UP victory. You
Yes,
expressed why he lost. Let's go why the UP won. Did it do?
right,
Yeah.
right. So I think with the UP, you can't say that because even with CDC, right, you had the pro-poor agenda that they brought in right after the one elections. And I don't know what UP, policies were that they were stressing. They've made a lot of general promises, fixing the road and other things that seem to be impossible. But again, I think what it was that a lot of people felt like George Weah didn't do enough when it came to the economy. So the next best thing was a UP party. How quickly we forget. We have quick, short-term amnesia. We forget how bad the UP government was. And in quote unquote, we had a more competent leader in Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So I think what caused UP victory, I won't say it was voter apathy, but I think it was just the ganging up against President Weah. Everybody who didn't have power, who felt like they would not be in power if they don't go Joseph Boakai's way, they did that. And I will give credit to somebody who I don't give credit to at all. I think Stanton Witherspoon had a great impact in these elections. I think he did. He really galvanized his media empire to fight vigorously against President Weah, and we know that was for personal reasons. But I think it had a tremendous impact on the psyche of the Liberian voters.
Thank you. I'll
Thank
be
you.
down here. If you hear the sound, it means the time
Okay.
is up.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Mr. CA, continue, sir. We are 10 in here, so I will get it so that I can get Anthony.
All right, thank you, Dennis. Folks, my next question is, we all follow the campaign and then the election. Who are the biggest losers and winners? And we will start with Anthony Gay here.
I got myself muted here. First and foremost, I want to say the winner here are the Liberian people. If you look on both sides, President Weah may have lost this election, but close to half of the population voted for him. I don't know what message was being sent, given the current economic circumstances on the ground, but still he got that 49% of the vote towards him. Now, the winner here is democracy is growing gradually in Liberia. Democracy is taking a route that we are not seeing at that level. The winner here is that when you protect your votes, if you have pool washers, you can have a good result. The winner here is if you understand the demographic of Liberia, and internet is not the way, but radio is the way, and have good propaganda, you can win an election. The loser is people don't know what to vote for and what they're looking for in candidate. I think we have an opportunity in Liberia wherein the Liberian people who are choosing a better path than what we end up with compared to the same thing we had in 2017. We had the exact same result we had in 2017 in 2023. I think that was a losing part of everything that we have spoke against, and we came right back to the same two individual again. To me, I think that was a lose-lose for us.
Thank you. Jimmy?
Yeah.
Who are the biggest losers and winners? I mean, talking about the political actors, parties, individuals, political leaders. Who are the biggest losers and winners? You guys not ready for this debate?
Yeah, I believe the biggest losers in this case is the seditions, and I will tell you why. The the sedition had a very they had a leader that they really believed in, that could have taken these people to a completely high another level. But the problem was that I saw two main problems. Number one, he did not have enough experts on his team to carry out his mandate, to execute a plan or to come up with a plan and execute it to the T. He didn't have that crack team to do that. And second of all, there were some sensitive issues that were never properly addressed. It is very important for the standard bearer to show concern, to show empathy when things happen, when people get killed, when the situations are going out of hand. He wasn't great at talking to the people when these situations, so they felt he was absent, and people filled in that void with all kinds of that he didn't care and all of that. I think those are the reasons why I say CDC lost, because they had a real strong youthful energy, the kind of energy that can build an enormous nation. And I think the winners, well, the winners are some politicians who knew that because of this lacking, they could take advantage of the situation. They knew that anyone, because of there was so much lacking, anyone that comes up as the first runner up in the opposition would have a good chance, and that's what we saw. So the winners, the opposition that took advantage of this void, and the losers are the CDS issues who still have the strength and power to do great things.
Oh, Anthony, you're not going to talk?
Anthony?
You're muted.
Who, me?
You. No, I said Anthony. Anthony.
Anthony.
J. Victor Damwe.
Yes.
Who are the biggest losers and winners here? And I'm not hearing names. I don't know if you guys are fair or not.
I will begin with the rank and file of the CDC. I think the young seditions, who I think really genuinely believed in the cause in this president, I think he let them down. A few of he and his henchmen may have enjoyed themselves while he was in office for the past 5 years or so, but I really believe the vast majority of the seditions are the losers out of this process. If Elvis is going to congratulate, give Stanton Witherspoon his props for what he and his Spoon Network were able to do to this president, I think Henry Costa must also be recognized as also one of the biggest losers in this process as well. I think he played his game. Whether his final move on the chessboard was belittled or not, but I think he has a lot of stuff to go and sort out. So I think he was also a big loser in this thing. I think the president also lost in this chess match. I listened to part. I haven't listened to the entire concession speech, but he seemed out of character. He's not the ebullient, vivacious Judge Weah. We know who those who are close to him say he loves to clown around. All of that. I think he was in a pretty somber mood today. I think he lost. I can't imagine Jefferson Koji going without, the pomp and pageantry of the city hall. I can't imagine what that's gonna do for him. I think he's also a big loser in this thing because he took the Lord Mayorship of the city of Monrovia as though he was the second commander-in-chief of the Republic of Liberia. I think he himself is a big loser. So I don't know how people like, and I'm going to call names because you want the names. I don't know how my namesake Eugene Nagby, my last namesake, is also going to process all of this. I think this is a big blow. I don't know how Akaris is dealing with it yet. I think he also lost badly. I don't know how Minister Tua is processing this, but I think these are the people I think who are going to take the real big hits from this loss. But all in all, I think the young seditians who really expected a lot from this president, and I'm afraid didn't get much, are the biggest losers. I don't know if we're calling winners yet. So if we're going to winners, I think yes, Nimba Kande is not one person, it's not Prince Johnson, but I think the votes from Nimba, just like Jim Clyburn, put kind of resurrected Joe Biden. I think the Nimba vote really did a lot for this president elect. Uh, so I think the Nimba people have to be recognized as the winner out of this. I think belatedly, Amara Kane has to also be recognized. He and the team that he put together, because I think, and I'm not one who thinks that the CDC was up to do anything nefarious to the process, but I think they're coming on and revealing to us or relaying to us in real time what the results were at the various polling stations, kind of preempted anything that the Elections Commission may have contemplated or the CDC may have contemplated. So I think he and his team also deserve to be praised and recognized. So I think they're winners too. And on the show, I can't leave my Scorpion sister out. Blending, she's been very active on the social media. I think she's a winner. So is Mr. Kamara. You know, as much as I hate to say it, but today is his night. Congratulations to you as well. And congratulations to Ms. Wilson, Mr. Sheriff. I think you all, you fought a good fight, and this is your day.
Thank you. We want to welcome Tavina Cole. Tavi, good evening, and welcome to Friday Night Debate. How you doing, first of all? You are muted, Tavi.
Good evening. I'm glad to be on. Friday is always my favorite day, so happy Friday to everyone.
All right.
Happy Friday.
Johnny in. We just concluded, I want to say almost, an electoral process. And many are saying that Liberia set an example. Is that something you agree with? And what message you think this process that just ended at most peacefully says about us as a people and our democracy?
Well, a lot of takeaways from the election process. The first thing there, I was discussing this with a friend this afternoon. We always say Liberian people stupid, they can't hear. But Liberian people have proven again that they're not stupid. They know what they want, they're purposeful, and they show it, whether angrily or whatever, but they show to President Weah that they were not stupid, that they gave him the chance to lead and to self-correct, and he didn't for 6 years. He minimized their hurt, he disrespected them, he took advantage of their law, and they rewarded him in kind. So I appreciate that they had a little bit of pockets of violence here and there, but thank God they didn't spiral to anything major. It was under control. So just the fact that they could, express their votes, and the result is what it is now. I'm truly grateful. I just couldn't see this government being in power for another 6 years. It would have made my work even harder. I'd rather give another person a chance and hold them accountable than to have this government for another 6 years. They already destroyed the scorecard. You got only one shot at this. You ruined it. That's it. You don't have many chances. But I mean, to President Weah's credit, when he said Even though he said it with arrogance, and we'll come to the speech if you guys have passed by that. But to just say, we appreciate Liberian people of all of this. I appreciate them. They did it. Dara stayed on time. Dara didn't have anything, and I'm not for any of these parties. I can care less who's in power. But they came out and they voted their choice. They voted from their heart. This time around, we saw the whole GOL vault open, and they were giving it to the wrong people, throwing the wrong places. Some of them ate the money, but they voted their conscience. They say, you know what? I don't care if we sleep on the floor, we sleep hungry. We're already immune to that. Or we'll vote what we think is right. And they did it. And so I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them. They are not as stupid as we think they are. That's the key takeaway there.
Intervilland, quickly, who you think are the biggest losers and winners here?
Oh my goodness, so many losers. Losers first one is TPP, ANC's TPP, they were so arrogant in their stance of certain things would not see common ground or see the big picture to compromise where needed for the country. And so they were the biggest loser most of all. CDC, who felt like another loser, who felt like they would do what government badly, disrespected people, like I said, to say the least, disregard their hurt, and think the Liberian people would still vote them because they dash money on them, pay their children's school fee, sleep with them for jobs. That's another loser there. I don't want to go into all the parties and the ones that cross over, that got no moral values and no standards and just jump over for no reason and jump on the other side. You criticize the thing government, you jump to them in the last minute. Down the loser list too with them. I don't know. I mean, democratically, I would say, the UP is the winner. Henry Costa did what he could do, pay for service. But at the end of the day, Liberian people voted for them. They didn't care whether he was Sleepy Joe, he was this, he that. Liberian people voted who they wanted for. So I think UP is the biggest winner there, most of all.
Thank you, Tavi. And Glendy, we're talking biggest losers and winners.
I think I want to agree with, I don't know who said the seditions are the biggest losers, but before I conclude on that, I also want to agree with what Tavi said. I think ANC and CPP, I want to mention Mr. Cummings. I think because when it came to the end where understandably that he may have felt bad, I think some people who believe in him was probably looking for leadership from him, and to just suddenly not want to be a part and say, I'm not going to take sides, but then in the end go and vote. I want to think that no matter how we look at it, he is a loser. When I say seditions, the comment that somebody that I don't remember who said that, made the comment that the seditions were the loser was because they believed in President Weah and they believe he would take them somewhere. But unfortunately for them, President Weah had a select few that he held together. And so the bulk of the seditions who supported him were left undone. So I think in the end, and so some of them, they're in shock. This is shocking for some of the ordinary seditions that this has come to an end when some of them have probably not even benefited. When we're looking at biggest winners, I'm excited that I want to say that I think the UP situation room with America Connor and his team can be looked at as the biggest winners, because what did they do? UP learned a lot of lessons from round one, and they took those lessons from round one, they re-strategized, and now they have Africa looking at how important it is to protect your votes. So I think the UP people, in the end, I think Liberian people as a whole, I also want to mention there are lots of women who are now new women who have now come to the House of Representatives and to the Senate, who also can be looked at as winners. So, but I think in the overall, the work that UP did in the second round it goes without saying that they are winners because they took advantage of the situation. They corrected the mistakes and they went for protecting their votes, and today they've won.
Jaron Gilman?
Yes, the biggest winner is from right here on this network, and that got to be Aliyu Kamara. Aliyu Kamara from 2019. I've been interacting with him to the time we joined this. He has been unabashed as I am. He is not one of those who came on when they found out that the game was already won. So, Mr. Kamara, I salute you. You are as unabashed as I am. You were foresighted enough to say, I pick my side and I will stand and fight. I picked my side and I stood and fought and we fought and you won cleanly. Everybody else like Ms. Wiley and Glendy's and Ms. Telvey, these people who are now coming like Mr. Sherry who been here, all of these people been, they said they've been neutral. Now all of a sudden they are
I'm still neutral. Point of correction. I'm still neutral.
Excuse me. Let me go to the biggest loser. I think Glendy was right here. Mr. Cummings is one of the biggest losers when he said he was going to be neutral, but then seeing he going into that voting booth to cast a ballot, it puts a shadow over him. Who did he vote for? Can he go to Boakai and say, I voted for you? Boakai will never trust you or believe it. He cannot go to Weah and say, I voted for you. So to me, he is the biggest loser of all. And when we talk about winners now, let's go to Prince Johnson. I don't care whether you like him or not. The gentleman is a giant. He rallied his county. He gave Unity Party over 300,000 votes. That is power. Whether you like him, as much as I don't like him, you got to give him credit. He did it single-handedly. The gentleman is a powerhouse, whether you like him or not. And as President Weah said, he'd rather lose on principle than win on popularity as it comes to Mr. Prince Johnson saying everything should go through him single-handedly. He should predict, he should nominate, he should select who are to be employed in NEMA, all of those things for which the president said no. So I would say the biggest winner on this platform is Mr. Aliyu Kamara. The bigger losers on this platform are Sharif, that's Alice Moroba, and Glendy's. These people became UP partisan last week. Mr. Kamara have been on the platform with me for years, and we've been beating him down. He won. Thank you very much, Mr. Kamara. You are a true supporter.
Yeah, Alice, we're talking biggest losers and winner. If I may add, do you know of any Unity Party policy or stalwart of member who stood out from day one to this day that deserves the most credit?
Well, on the platform, there's one here already. I will join Mr. Gilman. Aliyu is here. He never backed down. Sometimes we spoke in his favor and he congratulated us when we, spoke on the same issues. So he's been there. He always stood up for UP because he believed in the party. So he's one of the winners. So let me start with my own people on the losing end. The Southeastern group, they are the biggest losers because number one, they have a son who became the president of Liberia, never did anything for them. For the first time when he was running, they gave all their support to him. And he, as far as 2021, that he was going to build presidential palace when he condemned the sleeping place they gave him in 2001 after visiting River G. That never happened. Then he promised that he was going to build a coastal highway. That did not happen. The road that connects Monrovia with his people became very, very deplorable under his regime. 2014, when I visited Liberia, I used that. It was good. 2018, I had to fly from Monrovia to Harper back, $100. And then even leaving Harper was very bad. And then 2022, when I went, I couldn't even go at all because it was worst. And yet the people kept saying, well, when he will end with us, let him take care of the other people. Who does that? If you are a father and Christmas is coming and you have the candy, don't you start with your own children? That did not happen. They kept believing these promises until today. Last vote came in, they still voted, hoping that he will fulfill these promises. He took over. He built his own houses. Why didn't he wait and say, in the second time, I will build my house? So when you saw him building his own houses and you think he will help you in the second term, you don't know tomorrow. That's a common lesson. If you have an opportunity, you have to take care of it, to make good use of it, because you do not know tomorrow. And so they became the biggest losers when President Weah lost the election. I'm not done yet. Give me a minute. Then the other loser is Henry Costa, who all along pretend that he was working for UP and all these things. At the end of the day, look what happened to Noah. Noah built the egg, and the woman that used to cook, last minute she didn't cook. The floor king, she was left behind. And then you have Miss Gankler, who brother came to UP. She decided to go to Weah, because she wanted to pay Jeremiah Poon back. But if you want to be an opposition, be an opposition. That's one of the reasons some of us don't have parties, because you want to believe in something and live by it. You can't say because I don't like that person, so the overall interest of the country, I'm going to trash it because I don't like this individual. That's exactly what it is. So they became the biggest losers. And then you have the reaction that the president addressed tonight. I got an audio where they are all crying. So you see, like a savior has fallen. So what happens when you don't believe in principle, and you believe in individuals, and you think when the president is not there, then you are dead? That's how they're feeling right now. So they're crying. The savior is gone, or he's falling, so we are nowhere. So we need to change the mentality, so the institution will continue to survive without the person that everybody is looking up to. So these are the losers and the winners. And of course, Amara is a winner, all right? Because that's why I said the technology that he brought to the table. Had it not been because of that technology, and we're waiting on the election commission counting bit by bit like a snail, we were not going anywhere. And the more you still on doing something, you make a lot of mistakes, the way cheating can come, because you start feeling empathy for people, sympathizing with people, and want to do some changes. All right. And you have too many people calling on the phone because they want you to hurry up and do something. So we got the biggest losers and winners tonight.
Thank you. Talking about the Unity Party policy in the stalwart who stood out from day one, I will give it to George Preston Lobo. It was like when no Unity Party member has cared or had any hope that Boakai had a chance. It was this one person called George Lobo. We've been here, we invited them, they would not come. George Lobo will be the only person. I give it to George Lobo 100%. No Unity Party person deserves a greater credit than George Preston Lobo. I give it out for that young man. Comrade Sharif, losers and winners. And who is that Unity Party person you think stood out from day one to the end?
Gosh, so Jerome already said, I'm one of the losers. But look, I I am an independent, so I'm still in my independent lane. So my endorsement of Honorable Boakai was looking at these candidates and Boakai who will offer a different personality at the executive mansion, not this playboy who has a lot of girlfriends, as Henry Costa. I want to respond to Elvis Morris real quick. Uh, he continues to lie, but I'm not going to waste my time on him. If you can find that tape where I accused Deviata Brown Lasana of sleeping with George Weah, please bring that tape, and I will donate $500 to a charity of your choice because it's not there. I'm going to keep my money because it's not there. But I'm not going to waste my time on you because guys like this, when he's not on the show, every time I say something about George Weah, he calls me all kinds of names on Facebook. But I don't care. I wear this with a badge of honor. The CDC people hate me because I have been consistent with my criticism of this playboy incompetent leader. What you saw today was he lost because he did not take his job seriously. And that's what I've been saying all along. He should have taken his job seriously. He didn't take his job seriously, so he's a big loser in this. Henry Costa is a big loser. You know, guys who jump around, you know, from the Patriotic Party, the National Patriotic Party, supporting, you know, different parties, right? He didn't support the National Patriotic Party, but he was initially supporting, I think, the ALP, and then from the ALP to CDC, from the CDC to Unity Party, right? But he claimed that he wasn't a partisan of all of these, you know, different parties, right? But he supported individuals like Joseph Boakai in that party. He went back to George Weah and he said, I'm back home. So he's a loser in this. If, you know, you're asking us to call names, Eugene Nangbe is a big loser. So there are a lot of losers in this situation. The winners, the biggest winners. How about the candidate himself, Mr. Boakai? Mr. Boakai was a guy who was comically referred to as the dead man walking. I've said that all along on this show. No one gave him a chance. But somehow, some way, he found his fountain of youth. And you know what he did? He dished people that he knew weren't going to take him anywhere. So he went to Prince Johnson. So he coalesced with Prince Johnson, and that was a game changer. Because one of the questions you asked is, you know, was there a game changer? That was really a game changer. Another game changer was the addition of Amara Kona to this campaign. Because why? Amara did one thing that have never been done, or probably not, you know, not in recent time that I know of. It's protecting the votes. You heard him. He said we chartered a flight and took those ballots out of the Southeast and brought them to Monrovia. When the National Election Commission is still waiting for their ballots, allegedly, Amara said we charter our flight, we put our ballots on charter flight. He protected those votes. So he did what needed to be done to ensure that this election, so that there's no theft. Because the CDC tried to steal the election. I predicted that they were going to steal the election because these guys, you know, it's a bunch of thieves and then they try to steal the election. But their attempt was circumvented. So thank God for people like Amara Kona who stood for our democracy.
Can I interject, Mr. Sia, if you permit me?
Yes, 30 seconds, please.
All right, thank you. And responding to Mr. Sharif, definitely on multiple occasions, you accused the election commission chairperson to be George Weah's girlfriend. On multiple occasions. That's a fact.
I want you to find the tape, though. Find the tape.
I don't have to find a tip. People on this very platform with us tonight can attest.
People lie. People
Please,
like you lie on this.
please.
You conclude that.
People on this very platform can attest to that. That you've called him, you've called her George Weah's.
Whatever you have a challenge. Can you find the tape to prove it?
Find the tape.
Okay. After the show, I will dig through some of these shows. I think in the very last show, he said it, but I will find the clip and I'll clip it.
And then rebels used to lie on civilians. So find the tape.
Please.
I mean,
and then on the last, On the
Comrade, your
last
time
point,
is over. Go ahead, Evans, please.
right? On the last point to Ms. Marba, I think when she said that the southeast, the people from the southeast were the biggest loser, I think that was an insult. Because the reason why they lost is because George Weah didn't cater to them exclusively. Look, Bomi County, by statistic, is the poorest county in Liberia. They had a president who hailed from the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Were the people of Bomi the biggest loser on the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf time? Of course not. You had the people of Lofa, who had a vice president who hailed from there, who barely got any development during the time when Joseph Boakai was there. Or the people of Lofa stupid for voting for JMB during the 2017 election? Of course not. So to just say that is an insult to the people. You have a candidate who appeals to them, and they will vote for that candidate. It's their constitutional right to do so. We have many presidents from the Southeast. The magnitude of the Southeastern problem would take the entire national budget for the next 3 years to fix it. To fix the road in the Southeast takes a lot of money. If George Weah did that, he would have to neglect almost all of the other counties. So let's be fair. Let's be fair. Thank you, Mr. C.
Yeah, you were
And
jumping.
that was just an interjection, not my time. So please don't skip over me for my
I got to respond to him. I have to.
Yeah, you get 30
to
seconds to interject quickly.
Okay, thank you. No, that's not an insult. When I say they are the loser, I mean the president did not tell them the truth. He always told them the opposite of what he was trying to do. That is not telling them that that it is an insult. If you told somebody, I'm going to give you a glass of water, make sure you give it. So in practical, he lied to them. All right. He lied to them and they kept believing him, and see what happened to him today. So it's not an insult. Next time, nobody will go there and lie to them.
Thank you. And I agree with Alice. That is not an insult. That is not an insult at all. Aliu, we're talking biggest losers and winners yet. And do you know that Unity Party stalwart of policy, or that supporter of Joseph Yuma Boakai, who deserves the most credit yet from day one to the time they are dancing this victory lap that you are part of?
Well, let me just say to Mr. Gilman. I mean, I heard a compliment and all, but when you call Glendy a loser, then you know that's the lady I got a crush on. When you call her a loser, then we have a problem.
I'm sorry, Captain.
And I saw the body language of Mr. Eastman. When you and Brother Nangwe were giving me that compliment, I saw my brother Eastman was looking very uncomfortable and I was shaking. Look, I see your brother, my man. This thing is over. We gotta get over it. But yeah, thank you, Mr. Gilman. Thank you, Brother Nangwe, for recognizing an effort when you see one. I think though, a lot of people on here, including Glendy, I tell Vina, I think both of us have similar personalities, so we can't fit in the same room sometimes. But I think she too had a lot of contribution. I watched her on SKTV. It makes me to wonder whether she is really a neutralist, because she seems to be on the side of Boakai most of the time, anyways. But look. The loser.
I don't believe that.
The loser here, Ben Nayure, Henry Costa Yure, Ben Nayure's daughter, George Weah team, his economic team, his diplomatic team, his security team. And these guys are the losers. The average citizens, the ones who we consider average, who goes to the poll, are actually the winners here. And the reason why they're the winners is now it's time that they can be liberated so that they can actually enjoy, their handwork, so that those who are carpenters can actually do carpentry, because Joseph Boakai told us that he's going to ban the importation of furniture into Liberia. If that happens, it means that you'll be forced to buy a bed from a Liberian-made carpenter, Mr. C. You have no other choice because you have to have a bed, right? So that will empower Liberian furniture makers. Joseph Boakai has said so many things that would directly impact the everyday laborer, and that is the largest constituencies of the CDC. So the Liberian people, the voters, the 49% that voted for George Weah, the nearly 51% that voted for Joseph Boakai, they're the winners here. Anthony, I rest.
Thank you.
Can I give me 15 seconds to respond to Ali? Okay. I think you want to just give yourself due recognition. The way the everyday people think when it comes to politics is not how I think. I'm a technocrat, but what I believe in, and I could go down fighting if I don't believe in something. I don't vote because everybody's jumping on a bandwagon. I vote because of my principles, and what I have been preaching against still has yet to pass. Now that you got the rain, this is when we'll see if what I was saying was untrue or not true. But when it comes to this thing becoming a part of, no, it doesn't really matter. I'm only about fixing things. I'm not about sentiments. So don't worry about it.
Is that why you're shaking in your chair when you were complimenting me?
Thank you. Hey, Ali, don't do that, please. Tevi, the question I have now, Tavina, is what are the major things that contributed to the CDC defeat? And if you also don't mind, let's look at the CDC strengths and weaknesses and the major things that contributed to their defeat.
Oh, that's fully loaded. Well,
yeah,
before I get to that, in the spirit of true recognition, I also, everybody healing Amara. But you know what? I want to echo that George Lobo fought for his party. I'm not part of the party, so I can send it other way. But when nobody wanted to talk about unity packet, like kept forever talking about CDC, that's how George Lobo was or is. He's everywhere talking about the ambassador Boakai, anytime in his sleep, out of his sleep. Amara then just came to the tail end. Yes, he brought a simple process of protecting your votes, of protecting data and system, basic process that anybody should have followed, including the ANC people who knew it all. And he brought it in at the tail end. But I think we should give credit where credit is due, and not just him, but those people who are on the forefront, people like George Lobo. I think they worth recognizing. So to the question of
what contributed, major things that contributed to the CDC defeat?
CDC downfall. I think I kind of mentioned that earlier. The first thing there is President Weah took advantage of the love that Liberian people had for him, or they showed him.
Took for granted, you meant, or advantage? He
took for granted.
Thank you.
He took for granted the love they have. They loved him because of the whole soccer thing, and he was one of them. Poor man or poor woman child, I would call it. So they could relate to him, and so he took advantage of that. And he didn't care about the feelings. He didn't care about the issues. He didn't care about what it felt. If the people, you got a woman in the street crying because they molested her daughter, they killed her child. He was in studio making music. They were there partying. It got two people die in car, and you're talking about, all that man woman business, things like that. So he was very insensitive to the need of the people. So that was some of the things there. Another thing, I think he was on a touch of what his role was. I don't think this man realized he was the president and what came with that responsibility. Sometimes I felt like there was a disconnect. It's one of those things where I think he felt like, oh, I have arrived and that's it. I just need to be president, and everything else will find it, the chips will fall where they may. Because I don't understand the way he carried himself, the way he governed the country. I mean, I just couldn't understand you. It's like he sat there and dished the whole country to somebody else to carry on, like the 12 and the McGills and the others to govern for him. And he sat there doing nothing. At the bare minimum, the man could not even speak to his people. You got people setting themselves on fire because of the plight of the country. And he would not even say nothing about it, but he would go in the studio and make music. He would stand on the stage to his party headquarters. That's why you see him at his best. Dancing, buka, or whatever the song is. Come on, man. Who does that? So, that's some of the things that, brought his downfall. Talk about the budget, mismanagement, the fraud, the waste, the abuse. And then I talk about, the killing everywhere. Killing in America, you see, sometimes my CDC friends will say, oh, you're not killing everywhere. You acting like killing not in America, killing everywhere. But we hold people accountable here. There are processes in place. There are good governance here for the most part. America is not perfect. We're not looking for perfect, but we're looking for small steps in the right direction.
And Tavina, will you agree also that this calculation by them to let Prince Johnson go could be another major factor that cost them the election?
Oh yeah, it's important. I think so.
What was very important, Nima County is a big county, right? And the influence of Prince Johnson, like him or not, I'm not a fan of Prince Johnson. I was across the bridge during the war. I saw him kill people. I saw him kidnap people. So I'm not a fan of Prince Johnson, but the way I rationalize things is not how the typical, Liberian person, Liberian rationalize. They love him, no matter what. So whatever arrangement I have with him, that was not really calculated for to let him go because, of course, we see the result. He showed his superpower again, for lack of a better word of words. So I'm not sure, what was the reason. Go ahead.
Anthony, I think we could, Prince Johnson was influential. He brought people, but then if you can look at the immediate cause of something, and you can look at the root cause of something. There is a principle that the people follow in the American military, that when they sit down, everybody sit down to eat. The officers will eat last. Someone wrote a book on this. Leaders eat last. If he only had embraced that one principle, I'm not going to eat until all my other people eat, he would have been all right. Because that guiding principles will make sure you get the people what they need first before you even think about getting yours. And that would have driven certain projects, that would have driven certain actions, that would have driven him to make his ministers and whatnot do certain things, because he cannot eat until his people eat. So this servant leadership, it can't be overemphasized that instead of this other type of leadership where what we call it kings, we're not electing a king. We need to be electing servants. Somebody who will be a servant of the people.
Exactly. So to the point, to add to the whole servant style of leadership, President Weah, he didn't care. He didn't care at all. He didn't care. He felt like, oh man, they can say whatever they want. After 2 weeks, a matter of fact, I know people from his circles that they used to be sitting and saying, oh man, yellow people talk, man. And after 2 weeks, they will move on to something else, like minimizing people's hurts and their concern. Those are things to make you feel better. He minimized that. He didn't care.
Thank you. Elvis, do you agree? And do you know the major factors that led to the CDC losing this election?
Well, I'm not some kind of Nostradamus who knows the future or who can tell what happened in hindsight, right? But I find it laughable, that we think that George Weah not taking Prince Johnson was a bad thing. It wasn't a bad thing. George Weah has taken the shackle off his neck of Prince Johnson. Let us not forget, we act like this was a landslide. Without the support of Nemba County, George Weah is within, I think, less than 20,000 votes in these elections. And after the tally has been counted, that may even shrink. So it is not something that is impossible to win this election without the quote-unquote blessings of Prince Johnson. The reality is, after Joseph Boakai first few years in office, you may have people who are disillusioned with this united party. And that pendulum can swing right back to the CDC if President Weah chooses to run for re-election. Look, I will say something that will seem odd here, and I will be very blunt in saying it. The biggest winner is George Weah. Here's why I say it. People said George Weah was broke. He was poor. He lost all his money. But I can guarantee you one thing: not broke no more. He's not poor no more. He's going to enjoy the rest of his life comfortably. And here's a challenge I will pose to the United Party. I dare them to try to arrest George Weah for corruption.
Wow.
I dare them.
Wow.
This is where the country is going to fracture because if Ellen Johnson Sirleaf took responsibility for her son bankrupting Nokal, and you don't firstly go after her and arrest her, if people go ahead, who wants to interject?
Evans, hold on. I'll you interject, please. 30 seconds.
Right.
I want to recommend something to FO. I want you to establish another show called FOLSU or SBU. FOLSBU. And make Evans the host of that show.
What do you call SBU?
What SBU mean?
Small boy unit there.
Small boys unit.
All right. Go ahead, Evans. You are protected.
Right. Look, I'm saying this because we know that people have set up their generations with the loot of the Liberian government and they've gone scot-free. Where's Robert Sirleaf today? He's enjoying his life in South Africa. Nobody has laid a finger on him. Nobody has said anything about what he got from Liberia.
Well,
Amara Conan that
accountable. You forgot?
one second. Amara Conan that we are hailing today took a bonus from Nokal that was already bankrupted. He said he was entitled to it because he did some negotiation. He's there and we're hailing him as somebody with integrity. And he's working with the JMB team. A man like George Weah is seen now in our Liberian.
Evans, before you continue, I want to recognize that point you're making. Yes, the act that created Nokal forbids the officials there from taking bonuses.
Exactly.
Amara, I think it was Cristiano Tad and many others. They took bonuses multiple times. Investigation and they were found guilty, but they said they were going to restitute the bonuses and they did. Go ahead. I just wanted to confirm that.
Right. And the last point I want to make, please, is that in Liberia now we're looking at George Weah, a man who has never killed anybody, a man who is a peaceful man, as worse than the likes of Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson is now the savior and the darling of Joseph Boakai, who is coming to bring reform, who is coming to bring restructuring of our society, who is going to be a man of justice. And he's fought and hand in hand with Prince Johnson, and we think we're playing a blind eye to it. We can't do that. And then another thing, when we look at the electors, the people who elect, presidents in Liberia, 49%, 49 point whatever percent, to 50, 50 point whatever percent.
Don't forget it's almost question, though. We're looking at factors that led to the CDC defeat. I mean, you have your right to go to whatever, but I just want to remind you of the question.
Right, and I said it earlier on.
Okay.
George Weah has some lapses. He has certainly some shortfalls, but like every president,
for example,
I know.
Yes, like I said, he wasn't an engaging president. I would love him to be more engaging with the people, even time for Christmas and other special holidays. To come up and give a Christmas a message with his family, be more personable. He's already likable, but things like that.
We did that multiple times. I remember some of the messages he was in there. He even released a Christmas song, so he did that. You got to find something else, my friend.
No, what I mean, often I'm giving you an example, but often he didn't talk to the Liberian people. He didn't put himself in the psyche of the Liberian voters. And of course, the economic problem that we had in the country, I think a lot of people forget, even though it seems like we're finding an excuse for it, the reality is almost 2 years of his government was taken out of commission because of COVID. The war was on lockdown, and there was barely anything being done in terms of economic transactions around the world. So I think that hindered his plans for the country. And lastly, when people talk about the Southeast, look, people say yellow machine this, yellow machine that. Moving things across the Southeast to cater to that role is very difficult. He built roads in other places in the country. You think he didn't want to build the roads in the southeast? Of course he did. But the conditions there are just so deplorable that in order to get the conditions to the place where he can do meaningful work, you have to spend a lot of money just to get it to that point. You know, our country is very poor. Our national budget is less than $1 billion. With all the other things that we have going on, you couldn't simultaneously be building the road in the southeast, finishing up the road in Ganta, in Nimba, finishing up the road in other areas. It just wasn't possible to be done. But I think George Weah will be set. His family will be set, and anybody who try to touch him will have seditions to contest with, and that's a fact. We'll say that.
You were flying
Yes,
a private
we are.
jet. Hold on, order, please.
Thank you.
Mr.
Order.
Sear, can I
You
come
couldn't
in?
do that.
30 seconds.
I come in, Alex. Even though George Weah could not simultaneously do those things, but as he was flying his private jets, he was building his condominiums, and he was doing other things at the same time. Alex, you want to make an interjection because I want you to Sherry.
Yeah. 30 seconds. So he's talking about people were corrupt, like Esau and the rest of them that he named. This is why when President Weah came to power, he had the opportunity to audit people. He never did. Many times they call on him, he never did anything like that. So this other person did that. So when you threatening the Liberian people that if the speaker that they ask him to be audited, there will be riot and something. Is that what you're saying? I don't think it's fair. You're talking about
Audit all you want. Well, you and I arrested the former president. That's a fact.
What happened in the presidential?
Can I get 10 seconds?
Thank you.
So what happened in the presidential palace? If the road is very heavy for you to build, what happened in the common guest house that he promised the refugee people?
Thank you, Alex. You made your point.
I want 10 seconds, please.
We're looking at, David, you spoke on the factors that led to
no reporter here.
What?
No reporter here. 10 seconds, man.
All right, tell me, use 10 seconds of my time.
10 seconds.
You spend of my time.
You're not my favorite today. No, seriously. No, Evis, you just will rambling and justifying it wrong like your president. Let me tell you something. It's about time you take ownership, COVID or not. If the Christmas will be good, we'll know from the eve. Don't bring no COVID talk here. Your government, your president was a complete flop. He didn't even know what he was doing. He didn't even realize he was a president to begin with.
Thank you.
So let's move on.
Comrade Sherry, we're looking at the factors that led to the CDC defeat.
Yeah, so we talk about these things ad nauseum on this show to the chagrin of these CDC people that are very unreasonable. They talk without logic. Here's one reason. He came in, Anthony, he started to steal. This guy was broke when he became president. Tonight, I didn't want to go into all of that. I wanted to give him his flowers because of the great speech concession that he delivered. But we will not do that now because you have someone here who considered George Weah a cult figure. It's a cult figure to this guy. So he's bringing George Weah up in a way that we have to discuss these things. So I'm compelled now to bring these things out. George Weah started to steal the Liberian people's money, building all these complexes in Monrovia and other places. George Weah, the very COVID that the brother is talking about, Elvis is talking about, George Weah flew to Paris to vacation. This is the same George Weah during the World Cup left the country for about 2 months to sit at the World Cup. Where do you see that? This is first in Africa that a president would just get out of his country to watch the World Cup. So I was concerned as an independent, as a patriotic Liberian, I was concerned in the lead up to this election because we have another World Cup coming in 3 years. I didn't want my president out there. Joseph Boakai is not going to go to the World Cup, let me tell you that. Joseph Boakai is not going to sit around singing, putting out songs and stuff like that. He's more serious than that. So one of the reasons why the Liberian people rejected him, his the Southeast, Alice is absolutely correct. The Southeast that allegedly voted for him now, the place is a muddy mess. The roads are a muddy mess. The Southeast is deplorable right now under George Weah. So they have to, at some point, there will be a realization, even that very Southeast. If George Weah comes back to run again, they're going to reject him. I'm sure that, some of the Southeast.
Can I ask a question quickly?
And so,
Just one question for 10 seconds.
All right.
And this is what my premise is because everybody is up, up in arms. Who should be arrested more, Prince Johnson or George Weah?
But
Who needs to be arrested? No, it's not a different topic. It's not a different topic. They're asking for this president arrest. Who needs to be arrested more, Prince Johnson arrested for what for Prince Johnson? Arrested for what for Prince Johnson?
Prince Johnson going
Okay.
You ask a question. Go
Prince
ahead.
Johnson going to a different court to go answer for his war crimes. George, we are looted our country in the coffers in overnight. He got another.
Prince Johnson looted the national bank during the war. What are you talking about?
Chevy, you are protected. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if I'll finish that thought, George Weah did a lot of stealing. He stole the Liberian people money. He wasn't serious about governance. Even in the lead up to the election, he took Joseph Boakai. He didn't take Joseph Boakai seriously. He was dancing. He was dancing again. He was dancing, playing around, flying around, traveling to places. He wasn't serious. He's not a serious figure. He's a celebrity. He's a soccer celebrity, but he's not a leader. That's not his area. So when you talk about who to arrest, look, we have a legitimate grievance against the likes of Prince Johnson. Telvie already told you that, so I don't need to belabor that point. She made an excellent analysis on Prince Johnson, what he did, and he has to account for those sins that he committed during the war. We're talking about a different sin now, the sin of theft, the sin of looting Liberia resources.
What's graver? What's graver? Killing many people?
No, I didn't say.
It depends on what lens you're looking at it.
So what you
one at a time, please.
So what you're looking at is, we've already indicted Prince Johnson on this show. We've already talked about Prince Johnson and his likes on this show. Tonight, I think we're talking about George Weah. So don't deflect this. We're talking about George Weah right now. So George Weah is the biggest thief in Liberia, and that's why one of the reasons why he lost the election. And let's face it. So the moment guys like yourself will realize that, the better Liberia will be. And yes, Joseph Boakai's government can arrest him, put him in court, and there's nothing any of you can do about it. You just sit here and big mouth. Big mouth.
Thank you. Jerome, this is a question that is like a bone with okra on it. Your side is the loser. What are the factors that led to you losing this big?
Well, the Liberian people have decided that there was nothing big about George Weah losing because the difference is 28,000 votes out of 2.4 million. That is insignificant. But let me talk about some of the things that I noticed that I thought will help the president. One is I know for the fact that he ran his presidency in 6 years without a reshuffle.
Thank you.
In any department. And I, as a strong supporter of the president, I said this over and over. Even the president doesn't have to be wrong for you to reshuffle. People get complacent. I'm a manager. I'm staying in my office here. It's almost 10 o'clock. I got tons of folks. I got payroll. I got everything to do. Sometimes I move people around because people get complacent. The president, like I told him, like let's take the information minister, for instance, okay? Mr. Lejewu Remy was actually dormant. And everybody said it, and I have said this, nothing happened. The justice minister, at least do something. Okay? There were deaths, there were crime.
What's about Samuel Twa, the guy you call genius?
Huh?
What's about Samuel Twa, the guy you call a genius? Don't you
No,
think you need to be?
No, but listen to this. Samuel Twa, based on what we have seen, even performed better than the justice minister, who is the chair of the joint security.
Okay. You think he performed better than Amara that people are talking about today?
Who Amara?
Amara Conan, the Unity Party's guy.
But you're taking the conversation a different place now.
Hey man, we're taking it somewhere because you say what led to somebody saying, I'm telling you what my complaint that I registered. Okay, as a manager, somebody who's been managed for 26 years at the highest level, at the United Way, at the ACLU. I am telling these folks, you have to move people around. And I want to disagree with my brother Ismail when you're talking about they didn't have cracked people on the team. When Ellen Johnson Sirleaf came to power, even I that voted against her for George Weah, when I saw her cabinet made up, everybody, even I admitted that this is the best cabinet that anybody, even the United States, could put up. Look at Ellen Johnson's first year cabinet and see the disaster. So it is not the resume. It is the commitment to your craft and the commitment to deliverable outcomes. If you don't have those commitments, you don't have quality control. Okay, to say if you are a health minister as 90 days, like Joseph Boakai said, in 100 days they will pave all the roads in Liberia. So we know when he gets
no, Mr. Gimen, no, he did not say pave. No, listen to me, Mr. Gimen. Let me correct you.
What did he say?
He said in 90 days, no card will get stuck in the mud. He didn't say pave. Go ahead.
Okay, so here we go. So my sister Morba here, Alice said that the road to the southeast is deplorable. So in 90 days, Ms. Morba, you're going to go to Liberia. Now you're going to go to Harper. You're going to go to Plea, but you will never get stuck. That's what he said.
Yeah.
So we'll hold him. We'll hold him to that.
Yes.
Now, I also want to disagree with you that under George Weah, you said 2014 you went to Liberia and the road was good. In 2018, few months out of in George Weah's turn, you said the road was deplorable. But then when you look at President Tubman that served for 27 years from the Southeast, he took his yacht. He never drove to Maryland. He took his yacht. Do you see why he took his yacht if he could drive? Why did Tubman use his private yacht for Monroe for 27 years? So this idea about George Weah made a road deplorable is so disingenuous that it makes the intellectual discourse very lazy and it irritates some of us.
So,
Thank you.
27-year president, Tubman president. 27 years.
Alice, I think you spoke on the factors that led to the CDC defeat.
Deplorable.
Oh.
All right.
So,
Alice, have you spoken on the question what led to the CDC defeat?
No.
Not
yet.
Right. Then it's your. I think you did.
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Okay, you go for it, please.
She did. That's what she said in the Southeastern Board and losers.
Don't know
All right.
let me come to
and
losers.
That was winners and losers. Alice, quickly, please. Your 2 minutes.
Yeah, but I haven't spoken on this one yet. So, you want me to go ahead? I can.
Go ahead, please.
One of the things that got CDC to really lost everything. Number one, when Liberians were hungry, barely had food to eat or pay their children's school fees, the president left the country for 1 month. When people were dying, 2 people got killed wherever they killed them, but they were in the car. And he was dancing, and he said it was boyfriend and girlfriend issue. He never said anything. When Princess Copper died, whatever they did, nobody said anything. This is your citizen. And the people that were suspected to be perpetrators were given free way to leave the country. That's not how you treat your citizens. When when people were being drowned, the areas were flooded. Those people that live on the swamp, these are the real Liberians, the real supporters of his. When they were getting drowned in flooded waters, guess what happened? His minister of state without, portfolio, built an apartment for a dead mother. Don't you think that's insensitive to the Liberian people? He decided to take on paying people's school fees. And then get their parents without jobs. How the children will not smoke kush? Because there's no parental guardian. People don't respect their parents because the president decided to be the parent for all the kids. And so parents were like powerless because they have no jobs. If you have no job, you have no voice, your kids don't respect you. He stripped all the jobs away from the people and then decided to take on parentalship for all the kids. See how everybody ended up in the graveyard, sleeping in the graves. And you think the Liberian people are happy? They will not be happy. The only reason people did not rise up because they are tired with the war. They are very tired. If you went in the market, if you listen to people, they always said, let's get to the ballot box. That was their hope. And I saw red cards in their hands during the march that we red carded him. And they are happy about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to add something. My brother Damon just said something. You know, I'm not a big fan of credentials, like you were talking about people having credentials. No, it is more important your ability to deliver, the effectiveness you bring to the
And he
table.
also said that the credentials was great, but they didn't have the commitment to
Yeah,
their
they didn't have
craft.
commitment. So then that's not crack, because any expert in his field is committed. He's already self-driven. So that is a point, and I'm going to tell you many of the things that Ambassador Weah would have want to accomplish. He didn't have the revenue, the finance for it, and it's partly because his people who are supposed to be in charge of generating revenue, stimulating the economy, did not know how. All they talk about dig hole, cover hole. They did not know how to do it. They did not know how to bring more money in the country and more investment. They didn't have the skill. He would have done all those things if he had more money. So that's why it was important. I agree with him. One thing, it was important to change the team around, because the team was not providing you what you needed, and that's what up to the leader. So we're looking now. I think it will be a completely different show if Boakai hangs around, because he knows people who can deliver. You can already see how he picked Molu. He brought Molu strategically. He brought in Amara, right, strategically. Okay, he picked Prince Johnson as and what's his name as his vice president, Kuhn. All these are strategic moves. So if he continues making strategic moves, he'll be successful. So it is one thing to win.
Jimmy, you mentioning Kuhn when we're talking about deliverables.
He said
Jimmy, stop
strategic.
that.
Well, I'm talking about what it brought in. It brought in the whole MDR and the support of NIMBA. I'm not talking about the person.
No,
I'm
Jimmy,
talking about the support behind
the
it.
issue you are talking about was not about winning. You were talking about delivering the goods.
Right. So I'm trying to show you the way he goes about selecting. He is particular about his selection. So now when he gets a foreign minister, just watch. Let's see who is Minister of Foreign Affairs, which is a very significant position. The Minister of Finance, another one. When we see his choice of this and how and their performance, then you will know whether or not he will be successful later on.
Thank you.
You will know.
Thank you.
Anthony, 10 seconds there. You know,
Please.
I know Mr. Eastman talked about, you know, they didn't have the resources, or they know how to go and fetch resources. The people did not even value talent. They, even if they had shuffled, they would have brought a new batch of incompetence, a whole bunch of people that knew nothing, because they don't know better. They don't know how to value talent. They don't know how to recognize skills, subject matter experts, and bring them in. They're there to reward people for Weah or membership to a party. So even if you get a room full of money, they're gonna mismanage it. They're gonna steal it. So I don't think that. I think that probably were more than that. It's just the vision. And the ability to see beyond their noses. They just didn't get it. Because
Oh, the disingenuous.
Thank you, Tavi. And Mr. Aliu Kamara, please do justice to the debate here. Your energy is low tonight. What, are you exhausted from the campaign? We are talking about right now.
You're trying to get me to start
He's been celebrating all night.
Yeah. Okay.
He didn't get to sleep.
What are the major things that led to your former guy you supporters defeat and his party you supported before his defeat, my friend?
Yeah, you can hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, very, very good. Listen, I think I would agree with Mr. Eastman on the issue of deliverable. When you brought Corn in the conversation, it was to just acknowledge it, to show to you that at that particular moment, Joseph Boakai target was to win. So he strategically chose people that could help him win. You can also apply that to his administrative skill. But let me clarify certain things. People say, oh, Ellen Johnson said he had people with CVs and they didn't do anything. You can't say something like that. Because of the CVs Ellen Johnson Sally brought, she decentralized education. Every county in Liberia has a community college. That's from the education department. The University of Liberia was spread, Fender was rebuilt. The Liberia Electricity Corporation was rebuilt, and we will go to Ivory Coast and bring electricity into the country to cover the hinterland. That's competence. The EPIC, I know you heard about it, over $4 billion was waived based on strategic formulas to satisfy the World Bank and the IMF. That is something. You're talking about companies coming in from Grand Bassa County to Maryland County to Sino County, okay, China Union and other people coming in. That is credential. Okay, when you try to compare those kinds of people to a group of people that worked for 6 years and never brought one employment to the country, then I think you're just being a partisan. Let's be honest. But the reason why George Weah could not have won this election, and by the way, presidents can go to jail. Judy Bryant was arrested by Tawan Gwanglo and was locked up. Okay, so the reason why George Weah could not have won this election was George Weah himself. I don't think George Weah was preparing himself in the first 6 years to retain his position for the next 6 years after his first term. He didn't seem to care. He was very lackadaisical. He was very nonchalant about everything. He just really did not care. The more the people complained, the more he did what they were complaining about. In fact, he would make songs. In fact, he would go and dance in the public while opposition and other people are complaining. Somebody died, somebody's wife died, somebody's mother died. And he said, well, they were doing it in the car. When you do these kinds of things, there are consequences for these kinds of stuff. But more beside, I would say it was a tough election. I would say I gave it to him that he still is very, very strong. The people really love him for all that have happened over the years. And yet it was neck to neck. I would say he's a very strong guy. But Joe Boakai had to be the option because he has a record through the Unity Party. And the people living there lived there during that time, they can compare and contrast and say, you know what? I think we'd rather go with this guy we already know because we saw what happened during his time. During his time, we moved from $15 to $150. That's a huge jump. During his time, we had a war-renowned hospital in Neba County where they were treating things like hepatitis B, C back then. All of those places now, the forest growing in those yards. So they go back and say, but if we can bring this guy to build upon what he already left, we think we will be much better off. He might not give us heaven, but he can put us back on the track so that a better government can come later on and move forward because he has the experience and the expertise.
Thank you. And Tavi, let me progress here. What should we expect now from the Unity Party that has won going forward? What can we also expect from the CDC that just lost going forward?
Well, I would expect a peaceful change of hands or change of power. So to the Unity Party, our position remains the same. And I would say this to your Unity Party, as you guys are celebrating, the bar is set so high. You know why? Because one thing, people already think they can't any govern because, Braga got an age factor. You got a Jeremiah Kun who they say selling him up be part allegedly. So we look at him with one eye, say, truly, he was selling him up be part. I got you on my radar. I work for women and children. So we already watching for a lot of things. We see them bringing a lot of people from, doing the whole tribal thing. Oh, that my nephew did, that my this. We're watching all of that. So the bar is set high. So we're watching your celebrate for a day or two, but you better go to the drawing table and start putting your dots in a row because it's gonna be tough. You know, CDC will not loot the whole country, and the little bit that was left there, they thought they would have probably won this time to break it again. They only, since they know they're leaving, they're cleaning, they're sweeping the whole place. So y'all got a lot of work to do, you know. So I wish y'all all the best. That's all I can say. So the CDC, you know, sometimes you have to win some, and sometimes you have to lose some. And it starts from the top. You know, I listened to President Weah's speech today. Obviously, starting from tune, he was hurting no. And I know he didn't want to make that speech, because clearly you could, the tone from the speech and the language used, he was forced to, whether by international community or pressure from wherever it is, he was forced to, or because of diplomatic protocol, he had to. He was forced to, so he had to, because from all indication from the speech, you cannot say, oh, I appreciate Liberian people for expressing their vote. I heard them, but I will be back. Literally, I will be back again. Our time coming. No, you live in denial. So I hope, I know it's too early, but I hope that he will have some time between now and tomorrow to accept this. Again, I said that he had only one shot at this. He was to put his best foot forward. He put his worst foot forward. So he needs to move on with all his people that he brought. Carry all of them with him. And they need to forget where they came from. Because none of them fit to be in power. They fit to be in no power. Not a single one of them. They're not competent enough to even be receptionists. All of them, right back where you came from. And let the people who got the knowledge, skills.
Nobody is competent to be a receptionist.
I said not even receptionist. I said it. Those people have set the bar so low for education in that country that you don't even need to be educated to even find a job or to give back to the country. Not a single one of them. I said it. They need to go right back where they came from. Go back.
Thank you, Chappie. Evan Morris.
Thank you.
What to do now going forward? What should we expect from them, and what should we expect from the CDC going forward?
Thank you. Look, when people are talking about people going to the grave because of President Weah, people were smoking human being boom on Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Her administration at Joseph Boakai working. A lot of these people who are on his team worked in that administration. Amara Conan worked in the latter stages of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. John Molu said it was the most corrupt government in the history of our country. He's coming back now. Most of this, and that's why I say I don't know where they're taking these quote unquote, potential ministers from. If they're coming from Mars or they're coming from Zimbabwe, these are going to be the same people that work in the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government that's going to be recycled. Those same people who are, who Boakai is comfortable with because he worked with them before, or are recommended by people who he worked with before, going to be the same kind of people. Look, you're talking about competence. We look at Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government, like Mr. Gimmer tried to make the point earlier on. The caliber of people that she had in her government was very, very qualified and, so to speak, very competent at what they did from the previous job and so forth. They did so poorly that George Weah came and won a landslide election in the second round. Won all counties but one. So when you're looking about, you're talking about competence, what didn't Ellen do? What the kind of support that she got from the international community was so much, but still the people were so despondent after she left office that they overwhelmingly supported President Weah. So I hope Joseph Boakai does well for the country, even though I'm in opposition to his government. But as a Liberian, I want the best for Liberia. But looking at our past history, looking at the kind of people we have in our country and just the psyche of our society, is going to be more of the same. It's going to be more of the same. The reality is corruption is a vampire. I will use Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It's sucking the blood out of our country. It definitely happened under President Weah. It definitely happened under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. It would definitely happen under Joseph Boakai. So looking at the future of the United Party, you'll see these guys who would perhaps be more careful in how they steal the country's money. not be so flamboyant on how they steal the country of money. But definitely, a lot of these guys who are coming back into government will pillage the resources of our country. And then moving on to the CDC, CDC still has a future. We're right in this United States. We saw people crying when Hillary Clinton lost the election. Women was bawling and makeup all running down their face. They cried bitterly because they felt like, how can we allow Trump to become president? Everybody thought Ellen was going to win, and they cried. 4 years later, they were dancing, popping champagne, and very happy. They got Joe Biden in the house. Right now, as we see it, more than likely Biden is probably going to be out. Those same people who are jubilating will be crying again. Like I said earlier in the show, democracy is a pendulum. It is inevitably that it will swing back the other way. So CDC will have another chance, whether it's with President Weah or potential Alexander Cummings or somebody else who may emerge. CDC is not dead. Unity Party can survive. CDC will definitely survive. So congratulations to the UP supporters. I'm waiting to see if he does well in his, as a government. We're all holding our breath and hope that he did well. My sentiments that I share, my primary reason for not supporting Joseph Boakai was the Prince Johnson factor. He said he was willing to dance with the devil. That dance has paid off. The cotillion that he went to with the devil, it will show a great ball and it has paid off for him. Now it's time to govern. CDC will be waiting right in the wings like a hawk and will be watching him. And every mistake that he makes, we will be there to point it out. So great show. Thank you for having me on. I'll leave it there.
All right. Comrade Sharif.
Yes.
What does the Unity Party do now? Expectations, you well know, my friend, are so high. One can also argue that there's a hole that's been dug by the CDC, and I can say that without any hesitation. So what does the Unity Party do now? Does the CDC have a future going forward?
Yes, the Unity Party needs to do a lot. Elvis keeps going to this Prince Johnson factor, which is really legitimate. It's a legitimate point. We have, as a people, a lot of us, as people from my ethnic group, other ethnic groups, have legitimate grievance against Prince Johnson in that country. But so is the NPFL. We have legitimate grievance against the NPFL and the political party that came out of the NPFL, which is the NPP, which George Weah collaborated with, of which Joe Howard Taylor is the leader of the NPP. So either way you take it, we still have grievances against people they are collaborating with. So don't act like, Boakai is the only person that have collaborated with these. Cummings did the same thing. He collaborated with all these old NPFL guards. So they're all saying the same thing. So your question, I'll go back to your question. What does the Unity Party do now? I said on the show, I think it was just a couple of days ago, maybe, that, Boakai needs now to govern. He is now the president of the Republic of Liberia, president-elect. He will soon be inaugurated in January. As soon as he's inaugurated, he needs to bring this country together. I know Jimmy said it's not a war, but this is a deeply politically divided time now, where you have 49% of disaffected people who voted for George Weah, who saw George Weah as the embodiment of their hopes and aspirations. I don't know what aspiration that was, but they saw George Weah as their leader. So you need to bring these people on board. He has deep roots, votes in the Southeast. You need to bring that on board. So it's not going to be a northern government, a northwestern government. It can't be a Nimba thing. It can't be a Lofa thing, nothing like that. You have to unify. It has to be first 30 days have to be unification for the Unity Party. Their name is the Unity Party, so they have to unify. In terms of the CDC, after George Weah, I don't think the CDC has a chance. They're going to come back, though, because George Weah said in his beautiful speech, which is why I thought I was on this show today to give George Weah his flowers because of that speech. But, this guy right here has taken us in a different direction. So he's taking us in a direction where now we have to scrutinize and criticize George Weah. That was not my goal today, because if someone is down, You know, a guy is down already. Why do you beat on him? You know, that's my philosophy. I have beaten on this guy for 6 years. He's down now. You know, he has lost. This is a difficult time for him. This is a difficult time for his family and his collaborators. So I needed to come on here and say how great, how magnanimous he was in that speech. And I'm honest with it. But this guy would not let us do any of that because as Aliu said, maybe there should be another show where he's George Weah SBU, you know. And so look, Anthony, the CDC, George Weah, the CDC does not go forward without George Weah. They don't go forward. So I don't know if he doesn't participate next time around, they're not going to win anything. Although, you know, the brother is saying that they're going to come back. You know, that's promised. Charles Stiller said he was going to come back. He came back in handcuffs. So a lot of people always say, I will be back. Right? You know, he's probably never going to be back in that particular space. He had his time, and that's why I like the analysis that Telvi is making tonight. You know, he had his time. He won by 60% or more in 2017. So
Yep,
this
61.
guy, 61%, that's what I said, 6% or more. And he wasted that opportunity. What an opportunity. You go around dancing. You go around, you know, womanizing. You go around, you know, flying all around Europe and America. You go to the World Cup, you sit there for 2 months. What are you doing? People are dying in your country. There are no roads to the Southeast. When I was a young child, that road was even better. Now you can't even plow that road. It's a muddy mess. You need to do something. Alice said he disappointed the Southeast. He did disappoint the Southeast. I will hope that if George Weah comes back again to try to run, the Southeastern people should let him know that you need to bring development here before we vote for you. The only paved roads in Zwedru are the ones that President Doe built in a city. Are the only paved roads that are there. What has George Weah done in Zwedru? He can't tell you, but he's sitting on here talking about George Weah this, George Weah that. We're going to fight for him. What are you fighting for? Tell us something. Are you on George Weah scholarship or something? What are you on?
Thank you, Comrade Sharif. You make your point.
Let's
Alice,
serious.
Alice, we have a president-elect. Hopes are high. What does the Unity Party do? What does Boakai do? Is there hope and future for the CDC politically? Unmute yourself.
Well, the first thing President Boakai needs to do is to extend hand of friendship to the losing party. You know, unite the country because, as the outgoing president said, there's a division because of the hard campaign that was ran during the process. So we first of all have to unite the country. And then I think he needs to call, conference of the Liberian people and find out from them what he should do. I know he knows what to do already, but it shows respect because when people give you mandate, seeing how Liberian people protected their votes, they have something in mind that they want to tell him. It's good to give them as the father of the country so that he will know what to tackle first. He has to see about the food. There's no food in the country. Everything is skyrocketed. People making profit off the country and the Liberian people. Something that is $5 in Ghana, they bring it to Liberia and sell it to $5 because there's no law and order. We have to first of all restore law. People get up and encroach on other people's land. They need to make sure that we have a country where law is respected, so that if somebody did something and you took them to court, the case will be free and fair. You can't pick and choose who wins the case and who is not winning the case, because all Liberians have to be okay same way. Another thing he needs to do is to make sure that the diaspora Liberians have a say, because the money we send to Liberia is the one that upkeep our country. He has to have a meeting with the diaspora Liberians to see how the bright minds of this country can go back home and help in the rebuilding of the country. And if you give anybody a job in Liberia, like a minister, make sure they have a home in their own county. This is what messed us we are up. He employed a bunch of people that were seditious, not because they were from the Southeast. He employed them because they were seditious. And most of them were Moravia or Southeasterners. They didn't do anything back there. Nothing. So when you're giving somebody a job, make sure they're doing something in their county. That's number one priority. And when they come from the United States, make sure they have home. Let them build their homes in the country. Some kind of development should be going on, and not taking the resources back to the United States. During Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, that happened. People, yes, they're pumping money back home here to pay their mortgages and never cared to build homes back there. They were renting, and that is unacceptable in this new administration. So that's, I think, why those are things he can look at critically to be able to have a better Liberia.
No, but those are the competent people that Ellie Josie hired now. So a government are better.
Yeah, but there were no, you see, where she probably made a mistake, there were no rules.
One at a time, please. Alio.
Yes, sir.
You have to set rules. All right? If you hire people, they are competent, but set rules what they should do and should not do. And I think when Boakai does that, you will have a better government.
Thank you, Alio. Alio, Joseph Boakai once said, I think Alio should wait. Let me bring in Jerome first. Alio, please permit me to skip over you a little bit. Mr. Goodman.
Yes.
You are a social scientist. Now we have a new president-elect, right? It will be more about the bread and butter issues and providing basic social services and running an ethical government. Talk to me. What does the Unity Party do now? What does Joseph Boakai do now? And does the CDC, your party, have any future going forward?
Let me first address the TV, and I have to be honest with you. All my professional life, I have never been on a platform and listened to somebody talk the way she talks. It belittle who we are. For this woman to say, all of us professional folks that work for this government in various ways, that we are not qualified to be even a receptionist. This tells me that whatever platform she's on, when I'm invited, I will never attend.
You work for CDC?
Don't do that.
Now, let me, excuse me, I will never. Now, let me.
One at a time, please. One at a time, please.
Let me go
to. You are protected.
Yes, okay. Now, what I think, Mr. Boakai should do, that we are going to be looking for, number one, we are going to be looking for nepotism. We're going to find out whether this is a carbon copy of the Ellen government, whether his son, Jojo, is going to be the Robert Sirleaf of this administration, whether his nephews and all of these folks are going to be in government. That would be the first test of Joseph Boakai. Number two, I want to quote Ellen Johnson Sirleaf on BBC when she was asked what was one of her regrets. She said, one of my regrets was that I hired all transitory experts. She used the word transitory. That means everything that she had in the country basically was transferred from the Republic of Liberia to a foreign state. She admitted that. So those are the things we are talking about. So those are us who are saying we should have people from the diaspora. Joseph Boakai has to be very, very keen to what Ellen Johnson said, that most of these folks are transitory. They are going to pay off their mortgages and their loans and everything else, and Liberia is not a target. 3, let me talk about, someone talk about investment in Liberia that Ellen brought, I think was Aliu. In Bassa, in Grand Bassa County, we celebrated Ellen when she brought Buchanan Renewable, and they gave them all the perks, and Buchanan Renewable turned out to be a scam. Took every resource that the government gave as incentive, gave everything that Bassa had, and Buchanan Renewable fled and left about 500 people unemployed and stranded. And that was just one. So this thing about bringing investment into the country, I think that has been already discussed by Global Witness, that 66 of the 68 concession agreement that was signed on which Joseph Boakai was the chair in the House of Senate. He approved those concession agreements were bogus. So we can't sit here and say that this thing is all going to be rosy. He's going to have a terrible time uniting the country. And the only thing that I saw today that I like came from one of the hardest working men in the Boakai camp, Anthony Kessley. If you saw what he posted, he disarmed even me with the hardened sedition. He said that we have won the election. It is time now for us to govern as a people. We are one people. But I want to also tell Joseph Boakai, this government of inclusion should be a myth. If you have unity partisans that are on the same page, that are competent, that are committed to the country and to the party vision, hire them. Don't be afraid. Do not bring seditions and UPP, I call it, or CPPN, and all of these people who do not have your vision and who are coming to undermine you because you just defeated them. I want to be honest here. Joseph Boakai is going to be graded by his production now that we know where we're going to hold him. There should be no reason why he should say, I want to have a government inclusion and bring opposition into your government, and they undermine you, destabilize your government to prove a point. Joseph Boakai needs to bring UPP and people who believe in the strategy, the vision, and the mission of UPP to deliver. So if anything goes wrong, he can be held accountable. In this country, when the Republican wins, I've never seen where they say we bring the Republican to, we are Democrat, we bring Republican with a small government and corporate style to run our democratic institution. It doesn't work that way. The only people that remain in power are those who are civil servants. So Joseph Boakai should not fall for this government inclusion and bring people from Liberty Party, CDC, that are disgruntled already to come and undermine you like they did George Weah. So they can say all they want to say. Once Joseph Boakai coming with his team and they produce, you will see it will be a new model that the people will follow.
You have 30 seconds left. The future of the CDC.
The future of the CDC is bright. It's a young party. I'm here. A lot of people are here. The whole world is there. If you have a political party that won 49-point-something%, that is not a party that is going away. So anybody who underestimates the power of CDC, it is at their own power. We are here to work together to make our country grow. Anybody who says that, you are making a grave mistake. If this thing were like, let's say 80% or 20%, you have a little leverage to say something. Almost 50-50 is impossible to say that. The future of CDC is very bright.
Right.
Thank you. Pepe, you wanted a few seconds because your name was mentioned. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Fanny Robinson. Mr. Kim, you know, let me say this. For you and I who in this America, who went to school here and value education and working and got jobs because of our knowledge, skills, and experience, I would never minimize your education. But you know, I was disappointed tonight to hear that you're in this country earning good money and on the payroll in Liberia, because you just said you're working for the government. And
yeah,
so,
work doesn't mean you're getting paid.
Wait, let me talk. You said you're working for the government.
Yes.
So give me a chance now. It's because of people like you That were my sisters, my cousins, and other people in Liberia who graduated for LU and other places who's supposed to be on payroll because they got education, they can't find a job because you hear on this platform doing propaganda. Let me tell you something. I'm not talking about people like you. I'm talking about people in the government there, that the Jefferson Kojis and the rest of them who they rewarded for seeking munya. That's the people. I'm not talking about you. I know you earn your stripes.
But you use the word every. You talk about every.
I see
Right. There are many qualified people who work in CDC government who came from the United States.
One at a time. One at a time, please. Let her land.
And just retract your statement and look professional. Just retract your statement and be professional.
One at a time. Tell me you are protected.
I'm able to defend myself. I will not retract my statement. I stand by it. Everyone that working in our government in Liberia must go, including George Weah. They are incompetent. They are unfit. They don't work. They are now worth to even be receptionists. We need new brains. We need qualified experts. We need subject matter experts. We need people who can do the work and based on their experience, their knowledge, and everything, and not for party or not for tribe. Or
you asked for 10 seconds, and your 10 seconds is done.
Let me finish.
Emma Glasgow is competent. Emma Glasgow is competent.
For 10 seconds.
Give me chance, man.
Don't let my job difficult, please.
Give me chance. You can cherry pick here. We're looking at aggregate here. We're not talking about 1 year there, yonder. When we're talking about the country, we're talking about aggregate.
But you said every. You use the word.
She said everybody. Now she's moving the goalposts.
Again, every single one of them must go, including your president. Every single one of when we say I can be speaking wrong English at all. Every one of them must go. And let new breed come. New people who able to govern, who able to lead based on their knowledge, skills, and experience. This government has minimized education and make it to appear like you don't even need to go to college to earn a job.
Maurice Captain is competent.
Sleep with whoever, sleep with anybody, or see
Maybe your point has been made. You have asked for 10 seconds. We're not going to
do that. Not in our time, in our generation.
Yeah. Thank you.
If you don't like it.
Thank you. Mr. Aliu Kamara, we are looking at what can the Unity Party do now with this victory? What can JMB do now with this victory? And is there a future for CDC? Can they make a comeback?
First of all, to my good friend, Mr. Gilman, I would like for him to establish when Buchanan Renewable leave. When did they leave Buchanan? What year? Was it under Erling?
Yes.
Or was it under Judge Weah? And what was the circumstances that informed their decision? We have it on record, so you can say under Erling all you want. Number two, Miss Moba, I understand your concern. You talk about land encroachment and all of that, and this is why you need to have the experts around. During the United Party administration, they will go to set up an entity called the Land Authority. When that Land Authority was established, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf built a prison compound in Grangeda specifically for those who will sell land to multiple buyers. And under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's 10-year rule, a 12-year rule, the issue of land encroachment, illegal land encroachment, ceased drastically. So the framework is there. The entities have been created. They're there. You just need the person who knows, the person who was there when the entity was created. And that's why the Liberian made a decision. Another person talk about Ministry of Information. Joe Boakai has vowed that the Ministry of Information under him will be dissolved. There's no use for it. He said that repeatedly. So don't worry about the Ministry of Information because it's going to be dissolved, Mr. Gilman. What Joe Boakai will do, I don't want to say what Joe Boakai should do because I can't tell Joe Boakai what to do. This is a man who already knows what to do. So what Joe Boakai will do is simple. People talk about reconciliation. Reconciliation is not about calling no town hall. Reconciliation is to make sure that all of the government medical clinics that are located in those rural areas are back up and running. There are drugs in those clinics. Somebody who wants to print a birth certificate over there in Glengoma is able to print their birth certificate, ink in the printers. There's reconciliation. Reconciliation is when we make sure that there's surplus of food where people can go back to buying rice for.
Alio, let me stop you. Yeah, it's a presidential way of speaking. I mean, this is not you, man. What is the low energy? You're making a show go tonight, man.
The man been celebrating, man.
I mean, you won now, so you got a presidential move here.
Such a time, such a condition. We have left, the venom. We have left the combatism. We are in a position now where we got to be sober because we are in the position to lead, to govern, and therefore, listen. Every single person on this platform is an important or integral part of the society we call Liberia. And just because we have won an election doesn't mean we got to keep rubbing it in people's faces. We got to keep drawing them to the direction of oneness, working together to promote and develop Liberia. That's the stage we're in. The stage where we're in was
Ambassador Kamara, well spoken.
Jimmy, are you falling for that?
I got a clap for him. What? That's Ali.
He's a diplomat tonight. We love it.
Everything has season. The campaign season is a brutal season. We're not there. Why am I killing myself? I've already won, Anthony. Don't you know that?
Congrats.
Yeah. So the deal, you will see a different side of Aliyu moving forward because now I'm looking at issue analytically. I'm not just a partisan anymore now. We're talking Liberia in general, 5.2 million people. All right. So somebody would say, Joseph Boakai will, as a president, Joseph Boakai will make sure that the rules to the Southeast are pliable. And the reason for that is simple, because he knows how. He's been there and he's done that. So to reconcile Liberia, like Mr. Ismail said, it's not like, oh, we're going again to a palaver hall and everybody come and confess and apologize. No, we've passed that stage. You give the people what they need. You give them education. You give them running water. You give them protection. You give them security. You give them the rule of law, and people would reconcile automatically. It's not about giving speech. So what I will tell you, what Joseph Boakai will do, Joseph Boakai will set the stage where you, Anthony, can decide now, you know what? It's time for me to go to Liberia and stay there 6 months and not have to worry that I can get stranded and have no way out or be killed because malaria bit me. Mosquito bit me. Those kinds of stuff. And you will see that the experts are coming on board. I will not name anyone here, but I know 19 people right now as we speak in Monrovia, 19 that are working along with the Unity Party and those young boys like Emo Tue and others to start the process of governing even before January. So don't worry. The moment Joseph Boakai take over the same day, operation starts.
Finally, the CDC. What's the future of the CDC?
One second, 10 seconds.
All right.
Mr. Kamara, you asked me, you wanted to know, since I'm from Buchanan and I have all the documentation, you wanted to know when the Buchanan renewable leave. Now, let me read it to you. Their board of directors said, instead, the project was characterized by serious abuses and drove impacted community further into poverty. The project ultimately failed and BR abruptly left and abandoned Liberia in 2013. This is Bloomberg. Thank you.
Bloomberg.
Thank you, Aliu. For your remaining 30 seconds, what's the future of the CDC so that I can go to the next person?
No, but you see that document, Mr. Gimega, please let him send it to you. Yeah? That particular page that said 2013. I would like for him to send it to you. Yeah. Okay, so CDC, and I'll be honest here. CDC has a future if they begin to work from day one, from now. They will have a future. I think Liberia now we're going to a two-party state without knowing it. If CDC begin to work now, not just have collaborations, like the NPP, for example, work with the NPP to do merger. NPP has a very large constituent. And the other two political parties that are with them have a merger and begin to work, do other humanitarian work, keep the government feet to the fire. You understand? Carry out gestures that are important to the Liberian people. CDC stands a chance. They got to do it now because the Unity Party has planned to merge with every group that they are currently with. That means the Unity Party will be too big. So CDC, that's the chance that CDC has. CDC has better chance than any other political party other than the Unity Party. These are the two political parties in this country right now, my brother. Telling you.
Thank you. Who has not spoken on the?
Yeah, let me just do. I will just try to be brief because the night is well spent. Look, as for the Unity Party, we identified one of the problems in Liberia is there's no middle class, there's no private sector. Boosting that is a humongous task, especially for somebody who's never really been in the private sector, who's been in government all their career. So I see that being an exceptional challenge because no way will we be able to lift our country to a place where we're self-sufficient unless the private sector is developed. So I see that being that. And then they have that monster in the room, that cancer, that what y'all call it, vampire in the room, which is what permeates all sectors of the country, and that is corruption. They're going to have to deal with that. So that's what is at hand. Beside restructuring and rebuilding those institutions, because some of them have been abused, and I think some of the statures that were respected before will have to be resuscitated. But they got a huge task on them. So if I would give any critic of the UP, give them a whole year or almost two, because it's a monumental task in front of them right now. And as for the CDC, the young, vibrant CDC, I think they now need to sow the principles. First, it's a grassroots movement. We trying to better our people alive, yeah. But now let's start sowing between those seams principles, the certain principles that they will believe in that would guide them, so that if and in the future when they're there, they wouldn't expect somebody to give them a job so simply because they're seditious. They will be looking, what can I do for my country? What can I do for my community? You see, there has to be a paradigm shift amongst them. Yes, we all need livelihood, but what is more important than livelihood? What you believe in, what you have, where you put your faith, where you put your values. Those are the things that determine the kind of life you will live eventually. So those things have to be mixed in the muya muya. You have to mix those principles and things there in there, and that would guide them and make them stronger in the future when they face all the different diversities and challenges they're bound to meet. So UP got a handful. I wouldn't want to be them. It's a lot of work. But
we'll be here. We'll be here every Sunday, keeping them in check, Mr. Easton.
Yeah, still vibrant. They're still vibrant. They just got to show those principles in there.
You
I
have?
have the phone lines open.
Yeah, so let us go to the phone line. If you don't mind, Tevi, is that okay?
Yes, please.
All right, let's go to the phone lines. And folks in cyberspace, we want to contribute. It's about time for you to place your call. We have a caller on the line. That is my good friend, Totman, who has waited for about an hour. Totman, you are live. Your take. What's going on? All right, Totman, go ahead now.
Thanks, Joyful. Thank you so much for allowing my call on the show. I want to say thanks for the panelists. Two things before I stretch my point out. The sheriff, is wise. You see, how can I put it? when you utter in the world, you gotta be very careful because when we say something, we can't take it back. So I would just leave it between you and the others. You should know that. And Miss Talivy, you know, I'm just kind of a little shocked, you know. Your tone, the way you speak, and I think Evans brought that up. You see, there are certain individuals see that, you know, George Weah is not capable. He's not entitled to the presidency, and he shouldn't even be a president. And I believe it because I'm not saying you said that. I don't say you see. I'm not saying like that's how you see it. But when you stretch your tone of voice, like these people, where we are right now, we should be talking about reconciliation. When you say these people, the order they should get out of here, they're not competent. And I'm glad Mr. Gilman was able to break. He brought your feet to a fire. We don't stretch that kind of tone. We are all Liberians. We need one another. We should be grateful our country went through the process, and you have a president who is willing to turn over power without no violence, anything around. We live in America. This country claims to be the oldest democratic country in the world, and they like it. You saw what happened in 2020. And you know that people in the same very Congress today, up to now, they still don't believe that the present administration here is legal. And you know that. And you saw the violence that happened on January 6th. You were in this country. People died.
Are you a CDC supporter?
Of course.
Please, this man is making a succinct point.
Please, panelists, stop that. Stop that. Hold on, Todman. Todman, hold on, please. Let me bring order here. Todman.
Let him go on.
Let him continue to go by. That's my estimate.
Yeah, he's been.
I would say to end my word, Mr. Kamara, I mean, I want to say thanks to you, even though through all this election process, you're being a strong city and UP. You've been, I mean, you and Mr. Kerabu, Gonglo, I hope you reach out to him. You're being on fire, you know, but I mean, I'm glad that you spoke very well. I mean, it's time for Liberians to move forward. Mr. Boakai being elected, we have to put ourselves together. I mean, elections are over now. It's Liberia. We should move forward and work together as one people and see how best we can bring and move our country forward. Mr. Eastman, thank you so much. I mean, through all the process, you've been very balanced, you know, and very objective in your saying. You never took side. So,
Thank you, Thomas.
I mean, that's very good. And I would say to our people in Liberia, I mean, I've been getting text messages and things. Election over. I know it hurts them. Those who lose, it hurts them. But listen,
thank you, Thomas.
There'll be a loser and a winner. It's a contest. Two person. One person got to win. So,
I don't know if he's getting you. Maybe you just got to move on to the next caller.
Yeah.
Move on.
I don't know how a caller can talk for 5
Mr. Tubman, thank you.
Everybody that went through the process. And big thanks to the sitting president that is willing in Africa at this time. This man you're claiming that he's not educated, he's not
I don't think he's getting you, Mr. C. You got to move on.
the Ivorian president, what he did.
All right. It seems to be he couldn't hear me there. Let me bring in Thomas. Thomas Garnett, you have a minute, sir. Please go ahead.
That's how the CDC people behave.
And to the panelists, please, I don't appreciate when the callers are speaking and you are interrupting. Please do not do that. You have an opportunity to speak.
Mr. Shea, please call names. Don't say panelists because what's the order? Call the names of those who are doing it. Then you say that.
I was one of those. I don't hide behind anything.
So please, can we give the callers chance? Can we give the callers chance?
Hold on.
Can we give the callers chance, please?
Yes,
Right,
we
right. Yeah,
will.
but you're saying something, Anthony, and that's important.
Go ahead. Thomas, is that you? Go ahead.
You cut it out. Go ahead.
You hung everybody up?
Yeah.
Anthony, getting tired with us.
Well, Wales, you are live. Wales, go ahead. Phone number ending in 1357. Will, go ahead.
You should have been
Phone
unmuted.
number ending in 1357. Go ahead. All right. Let me bring in this other caller. Caller with phone number ending in 0054. Go ahead. Caller with phone number ending in 0054. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello. Yes, this is Les Will. Am I on?
Yeah, Will, go ahead. You are on, please. You have a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
I just want to make 3 points. I think it's a very historic victory. Joseph Boakai, there have only been 3 what they so-called countrymen that have ever run Liberia. All the other presidents of Liberia from its inception have always been from the coastal county. So this is a very important historic victory. Doe came to power from Grand Gita due to a coup. Harry Maniba is the resignation of Taylor. So this is very important. And I also wanted to say that it's very similar to America's situation because Weah was fired because he was a great celebrity who didn't know how to run politics, just like Trump was a great celebrity who didn't know anything about politics. So he was defeated by Obama's VP, old man Biden, and Sirleaf's VP, old man Boakai, defeated George Weah. So I just think it's an important analogy. And just third, and my last point is, I wouldn't be surprised if Jewel Howard Taylor is planning on running for the presidency in 2029. By then, her ex-husband may be out of jail and return to life.
I don't think he will be out of jail by then. Will,
he's an old rival of not only but he's a danger to Liberia. And
thank you, Will.
my only fear about the Boakai administration. So thank you.
Yeah, let me bring in Thomas. Thomas, you are live. Yeah, Thomas, you are live. Go ahead. You have a minute, sir. Thomas Cannon, are you there? Yeah, Thomas Cannon, are you there?
Is something going on with our line?
Thomas seems
I don't think it's Thomas Connor.
It's our line.
Let me bring in 0054. Last number 0054. What's your name? Where are you calling us from? Don't listen to the broadcast. Just listen to the phone. Let me go to another caller here. Sarah Snell, you are live. You have a minute. Go ahead. Yeah, we seems to be having some difficulty with the callers there.
Are you unmuting them before putting them on? Are you unmuting them?
Yeah, I mean, I've done everything over. I know what I'm doing. I think you heard some of them. Well, folks, let me come back to you. Your reaction to the callers, and then your closing. Because of time, we've gone 2 hours 48 minutes. So your reaction to the callers, if you want to, and then your 1 minute closing. Let's start with you, Tavi, if you don't mind.
Well, let me come because I'm falling asleep. Let me speak to the caller and to the rest of the CDGs in the comment section and everywhere else. Let me tell you something. I know culturally we're not used to people being direct and saying it as it is. And if you know Talvina, I will say as it is, even if it means I'm saying it alone. It's not because George Weah, that poor man or poor woman daughter, that's why we say he's not fit to run. A poor woman daughter too. Don't mommy sitting down here. I just decided to change my life in America and not go back to where I came from. It is not because George Weah, he poor woman, he poor person child. Let me see the real Liberian English. Again, we gave him 6 years. The Liberian people loved him. They gave him 6 years to self-correct. He did nothing. He took advantage of their love. He disrespected them. He ignored them. He was heartless. He was speechless. I won't go to the other words. And now you want us to be softly talking about, it's time to reconcile. I'm not in government to be speaking reconciliation. I am saying they are incompetent. And they need to go back to where they came from. Go back asking, go take the job that you were doing before your president came in power and brought you. And you were sweeper, go back and start to go back to sweeping. Go back and set Pepe Kala because of what you were doing.
Wow.
People that know the peanut butter there, people that they like to peanut butter, she was selling Pepe Kala or whatever. Go back. She doesn't belong to, she's not fit to be chief of protocol or whatever her title is. The coachee, back to where you, I'm going to go down the list. I stand by what I'm saying. If I were in Liberia or people are voting, would I vote George Weah? No. I got critical thinking. I eat my school fees. It's not because he's a football player. Certain things are for certain people. He's not worth to be president of like the country. It's not because he poor man or poor woman child. Because he doesn't have the capability. He doesn't have the know-how to even lead. He doesn't even know what leadership is. Before I was there to even attempt to do it. Total disconnect. You think you waste my vote like that? You won't compare Liberia with America with Trump? Say why you made up with Trump. I'm not a fan of Trump. But you know what happened? Trump is Trump. He's doing some good things for his people. He getting tax breaks. He did some good things. That's why people voting for him. Don't compare America and Liberia. I hate when y'all do that. America and Liberia, now they see talking about 49% or whoever percent voted for George Weah so he would come back. Let me tell you something. Most of those votes were influenced by money, and you know that. You stop being denied. They were influenced by money. But regardless, George Weah had one strike of this. You know, how people can say love at first sight, or you got first time to make impression. One strike at this, and that was his best foot he put forward. He's not coming back.
You sure they impress me.
You what? I'm sure when your people here and there.
He impressed 49.5% of the population.
Give me a break.
No, you know, we shouldn't give you unfettered access to talk nonsense here.
Money. Influenced by threatening people that if you don't do it, you will have no other job and they got no other means but to vote because they want to keep their daily bread. We're not talking to nobody.
The government hired 72,000 people, almost 800,000 people voted for him. They're not all on the government payroll.
But the more you interrupt us, you will not close them
No, because she would not shut up. She's not saying the right thing.
No, Mr. German, let her close. Let her close and then you'll come in.
I got this floor. You can silence me, you know that.
I'm not silencing you. I'm saying if you disrespect everybody, then we'll have to.
I'm not disrespecting. This is my chance to talk, and I'm free to say what I want to say. When you get your chance, you spin it whatever you want to praise your God. Wait for your chance. This is my chance. Seriously, Weah is not coming back. You know, somebody said, oh, you know, something he said in his speech kind of talking about, you know, the division, you know, the hard things that came about because of the election. No, it did not come because of election. It started from his government. The hard feelings started from there. The division started from there. The hatred started from there. Because when people were talking about the hate, the hurt, and the government people were beating the people children, they were tear gassing them. People were dying and they didn't care. People were getting raped, they didn't care. You want to say that because of election? No. That's a dishonesty that got some of us upset. You cannot say that the division started from election. The division, no, it started from your government. Because when you came as a peace ambassador and people were expressing all those things, you said nothing. You ignored it. You went to puppet to throw shit. And now you want to talk about election? No. So again, to my point, go back If you take
Thank you,
nothing with
Tavina.
you, if you not take, go back to where you came from.
Tavi, thank
And
you.
stand by it. Put it on tape.
Thank you, Tavina. Mr. Gilman, you're closing. Please, like keep it to a minute. We have to go.
Obviously, thank you very much for being on the show with people that I find to be intellectually, at some point, has disability. Because nowhere in my career have I ever used the word every or used the word your people or those people. The last time I heard that word, it was so degrading in the United States that Ross Perot was scorned when he used that word, your people. So I am a student of history. Obviously, I'm a social scientist. The words have meanings. Unfortunately, I am on the show with some unsophisticated folks that will use these words that folks who are out there, who are well learned, will look at this and say, before I appear on FOL, I will have to inquire who are those that are appearing with me. And I think FOL is getting to that point where people will inquire who are those that are appearing with me. But I want to thank you for the show. I think the president had an excellent day. Liberia had an excellent day. I think we are going to be one people. I tell the Liberian people, every time when someone wins, when a team wins, that team needs to be allowed to celebrate. They need to celebrate. This is an earned victory. If we have won, we will be celebrating. So nobody should tell the winners to not celebrate. We want to say, celebrate in a way that you do not disturb the peace, you do not destroy property, and we do not lose a life. But we're not supposed to celebrate. In these United States, when we win, we have a parade, we celebrate. Unity Party needs to celebrate, and we should allow them the space to celebrate because this was a hard-fought campaign, and they wanted the need to celebrate. Thank you.
All right. Comrade Leo, a closing. Please keep it at 1 minute time. Unmute yourself, man. This victory thing you have taken you out of character. This diplomatic thing ain't not working. Unmute yourself, please. Is that how you were going to govern us? You are still muted and try to get a computer. We need you here to be providing education. All right, we'll jump over you, Aliu. We'll jump over you because you can't even unmute yourself. Comrade Sherry, you go ahead. The brother is struggling that you can leave and come back, Aliu. Go ahead, Comrade Sherry, please. You're closing.
My closing, I will hope next time when these callers call and they talk about, they accuse a panelist. In this case, he was cherry picking. Topman was, something Telvina said. The moderator has to sometimes, like it's done in some other times, you have to check them also. They don't have the liberty to say whatever they want to say. Both sides have to be respected. I mean, we ourselves have to be respected. We take a lot of abuses, that's fine. But when someone chooses to come on and spew something that's untrue, they have to be checked. And that's the role of the moderator. So I will hope that happens. Telvi, thank you for
Sherry, to that point, right? What we don't want to allow is when the callers call, they are on phone. You are here, so the voices are far above theirs. So we want you to give them time to speak, and that's what we've done here. We give you the opportunity to respond to them, allow them to speak, and you can checkmate them. This is a debate. It's your responsibility to checkmate them if we don't. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sometimes it's just better in real time. But I will move on. Telvi, do I agree with everything? No, I mean, no two people can agree with the same things, right? But I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your eloquence. I want to thank you for everything, all the analysis. I mean, it's hard. It was even hard to follow you as I sit here. when I was a young child in elementary school, we used to sing a song, "Pepper in Their Eyes, Give Them Water." The guys on this show, Jerome has pepper in his eyes. Elvis had pepper in his eyes. There's pepper in these guys' eyes. All I try to do tonight to come in and try to ease the pain and the anguish, but they didn't let me. They didn't let me. So they're not going to let you. Trust me. I've been on this show with these guys. This is the way they behave on these shows. And some of us, we're very professional. We try to come in with knowledge. We try to come in and speak truth to power like you did, Telvi. So I want to, again, without belaboring that point, thank you for your eloquence on this issue. Look, everything that I wanted to say, you said it. Incompetence. Incompetence. That's the key word right there. And they all need to go like tomorrow morning. This administration, Mr. Boakai, needs to make sure that there is a clean sweep. I don't care where you are. I don't care who your father is. I don't care who your mom is. I don't care who your brother is. It has to be a clean sweep. We have to turn the page. Yes, reconciliation. But like Alio said, there are different ways to do reconciliation. Okay, not just town hall and all these different things. By your policy, you can reconcile. By your development reaching Southeast and all these different places across the country, you can reconcile. But as far as administration, these guys have done a lot of damage to Liberia. They have embarrassed us. I'm embarrassed as a Liberian. I'm embarrassed. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Comrade Sherry, you know, we always appreciate your contribution here. A product of Waplo from the Southeast. We appreciate you, Comrade. You know, I always place that phone call for you to come.
I know. I appreciate you, Comrade.
Yeah, we have a country and we have a responsibility. We have to play our part while we stay our lives. We still have our lives.
You know, Anthony, real quick, Anthony, I want to say something about you. See, Anthony is a patriot too. Anthony is a patriot. This is a guy who comes from the same county as George Weah.
The same town. The same town.
The same town as George Weah. This Anthony Sear comes from the same town as George Weah. But he has never used that like other guys come around here. You know, they are so blind to the reality. Anthony has never done that. And this is the thing, you have to be commended for that. You have to be commended. You know, I've said this to people. I've said this all along. You have to be commended. Dennis have to be commended. You've never used this Southeastern thing like some of these guys like Elvis and them putting on their head. What is this? I'm a Southeasterner. Maybe you don't accept me, but I am a Southeasterner. Okay? So don't put this stuff on your head. Don't put it on your head. I don't know.
Maybe well said. Ali, we're getting feedback from you. Go ahead.
I don't know what kind of feedback you're getting from me. Can you hear me okay? Hello? Lopo? Can you hear me okay?
Ali, go ahead. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. That's what I wanted to know. Look, let me just say again, like I was saying before, it has been a great night. I'm grateful to share this platform with everybody. Evans Morris, Davina Cole, Mr. Gilman, my favorite man on the show, Sharif, Mr. Eastman. It's been a great time. Listen, Joseph Boakai, arms are open. He is ready to work with each and every Liberian from all walks of life. The trade, the carpenters, the masoners, bricklayers, the educated class, the upper educated class, CDC, LPP, everyone Joseph Boakai is willing to work with. In any corner where Joseph Boakai can find a competent or a qualified patriotic Liberian who is willing to commit his or her time to help develop Liberia, Joseph Boakai is committed to doing that. We want to assure you guys all of us Liberians, that Joseph Boakai knows what it is and he is ready on day one to become president. He's not one of those people who will go in your government to learn how to become president, to learn how to be a diplomat. He's been a diplomat. To learn how to be a public servant, he's been a public servant. To learn how to be a civil servant, he's been there. He's been there, he's done that. So I want to show you this moment that your work, your effort, your time wasn't in vain. And it's time for all of us. The campaign is over. The fight is now over. Now it's about the country now. All of us must put our hands together. Like we say in Pele, kwaku yepu gema, kwaku loito. Again, thanks for having me tonight.
Aliu, thank you.
Aliu, thank you.
Alice, you go.
Alice, you go.
I want to say thank you to our president-elect, Joe Boakai, and the Unity Party for hard work. I also want to thank President Weah for being able to see tonight that the defeat was real.
Mr. Kamara, please mute.
And
it's important that people learn from what has happened. Some of the things that actually contributed to that, and I already listed them, also was one of the ways the campaign was run. I heard a VP saying because Madam Sali got 12 years, so they had to get 12 years too. You don't talk to people like that. It was disrespectful. You get re-elected based on what you've already done. And I think that point was missed. That got President Weah out of the game tonight. So people will learn from that. 6 years from now, if they want to come and be Liberian people, they will have reconsideration. I don't know. But you have to always work, and based on your work, you get paid. So thank you again, guys, for the great show. I enjoy working with all of you tonight on this debate. God bless.
All right. Evan Morris, you get the last word tonight, my friend.
All right, thank you. I'm so happy. I'm happy today to be able to witness the transition of power from an incumbent president to a president-elect. I'm happy because I feel like although President Weah lost these elections, but I think it will probably go down as the closest election in Liberian history. So I'm not, disheartened. I mean, yes, President Weah lost these elections, but it's not the end for the CDC, or perhaps not the end for President Weah. But I think it's so funny when we who support this president are more congratulatory and more, conceding than those who seem to support, President-elect Boyka, who are so, aggressive and spewing venom on the platform tonight. There are competent people within this George Weah government. I'll name a couple: Monique Captain, Emma Glassful, a few others who have done well in their capacities as as ministers of different agencies or different ministries. So to say everybody is incompetent is just not true. The reality is President Weah, in the eyes of the people, just didn't do enough to garner the extra 29,000 votes that he needed to be the president elect. So for me, I'm hopeful. I'm happy that Liberia is practicing democracy. And unlike some people who are in these United States, President Weah never tried to annul these elections. He willingly gave that speech when people said he was forced to do it. This man has never rigged any elections. He's always been a Democrat. He's practiced democracy. We've seen it from time to time. He had many opportunities to be a dictator. He rejected it. He's always been a man of peace. And I think we must commend him for that. Kudos to Ambassador Boyka and those who supported him for winning these elections. We watch keenly to see how he governs, and rest assured, we will be here to criticize when he's not doing the right thing. But also to the people who support Ambassador Boyka, remember, you thought he was the best thing. You thought he was going to be the best president after President Weah. When he's not doing so well, please be men and women enough to admit that you got it wrong and not find all the excuses that we have broken down the whole country. The country was backwards. The country is this. Let us not forget let us not forget that he passed the MCC, scorecard with 14 out of the 20, the most ever in the history since the MCC has been, established. So he's done some good things, but he didn't do enough to get reelected. And for that, we'll hang our head to it. We'll have a stiff upper lip. By the end of the day, we know that President Weah, if he so desires, could be back president in 2029, and we'll be there to support him. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you, and thanks to everybody who contributed. Thanks also to the followers who watched the show throughout. This is how we will come to the end of Friday night debate. We'll see you next Friday when the real debate will start on governance. My name is Anthony C. I'm moderator. And again, I can't thank you all enough. The sun says we are all Liberians. Whether you support Boakai and you get the last laugh today, thank you. Congratulations to your side. And you are for President Weah, or you support President Weah, and now you are bowing down in defeat, it's okay. Sometimes there's strength in defeat. I've been defeated before. I've been there. It's a good thing. It's humbling. And maybe it's a good way to strategize and come back, and maybe you get a second chance. United Party is laughing today. They had 12 years. Somebody said they squander opportunity. Somebody said, well, instead of implementing, they were doing PowerPoint presentation. I hope those things will not repeat. You can come back. Maybe the Liberian people that chose Unity Party again can choose you again. I am not in the business of being in government. This is my area to hold them accountable so that they can do the right thing for our people. I will be right here. Let us talk Liberia. Enjoy the song. We are all Liberians, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Be right.